Everybody plays for each other, just with all the stuff we've been going through and getting these close games. But, I mean, to be a good football team, you have to win those close games.
That's Joe Schober. Yeah, the Jags lost again. Whatever. It's Larry Bird's birthday today. Check out those highlights on Twitter.
I just saw it. I just commented about it.
By the way, here's what else is big news. See this?
No way.
Yeah, sweatshirt
Got the
came
Townie
in.
Sweatshirt. Looking good.
Go Townies.
Looking good.
You like that guy, don't you?
That's a badass logo. I don't care who you are. I'm for it, man.
Pretty good.
That guy's got bad intentions.
I can't believe it took me 20 years to get a East Providence Townie sweatshirt.
Does he have a name? Like the Townie guy?
You going to ask me to sing my alma mater, too?
Some fan you are not. Hey, all I asked was, what is the mascot's name, Brent? Pretty standard and simple question. Like, if I was going to ask, well, Stuart's kind of busy, but if I was going to ask Stuart, hey, what is your mascot's name? You would say for the Florida Gators?
Florida Gators and the Palm Beach Gardens High School Gators.
Yeah, but I'm saying the mascot's name. Like, isn't it?
Albert the Alligator.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Where were you?
We're the Thunderbirds.
Is there a Thunderbird?
We don't need a Thunderbird name, all right? It's the Thunderbirds.
Well, we
No,
we don't need a Townie name.
That's like Tommy the Townie or something right there.
I don't
Trent
think it
the
is.
Townie.
I don't think so. Trent the Townie.
Trent the Townie. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think so. What did we have at one of the Eagles, like the big Ashland? Oh, my gosh. Tuffy? I think it was Tuffy the Eagle.
Tuffy the Eagle.
Yeah, that was like, because they had eagles all over campus, and so they were all named different eagles, but the big one was named Tuffy, I think.
Tuffy the Eagle.
I think.
You got it. It's Tuffy.
Is it Tuffy?
It's Tuffy.
Yeah.
Hey, can I just be honest
not
with you?
very tough,
It's
though.
kind of embarrassing, though, right? I mean, I think we're on the same page here. That's not striking fear in anybody.
Ashland is the home of the world's friendliest people, okay?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you can't have it all.
I got you. Hey, do you want to know what our
East
mascot was
Providence,
called?
Rhode
in Murray
Island is
State?
not home of the most friendliest people, but we are home of the Townies.
As you can see from the
We're
logo.
Townie tough.
Hey, do you want to know what Murray State's mascot name was? This goes to show you how much focus is on football at that university. Dunker. That's the horse's name.
Yeah.
Dunker, man.
Yeah, I think they could have done better.
I mean, it's a basketball school. Goes to show you.
Man, soon enough, we might be a basketball town if the Jags keep losing.
What's up, Raptors?
We're a hockey town.
Let's go.
Hey,
yeah,
Heisman.
we got the Heisman, too.
I mean, my goodness gracious, Jags lose again.
Is Austin one of the new owners on the Iceman? Have we added him to the ownership
Not
group
yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. We'll work on
It's
that.
still in the contracts. Don't worry about that.
Listen, I don't know what the cheapest buy-in on ownership is, but if I can get like 0.25%, I'm in.
You gonna buy some stock? Do you think the Iceman are rising?
I've always wanted to do that. Like, I don't have the kind of money where I can buy into anything, but I would want somebody to just sell me like 0.25% of 1% stake.
I mean, you want to do a pyramid
What is
scheme?
that, 0.025 or
You
something?
should be a Packers fan then.
Do you want to do a pyramid
It would be
scheme?
good. Like, wouldn't it be cool to say, hey, I'm part owner?
Of the
Like,
Packers?
nobody
Yeah.
asked how much. I mean, it says it's like when you go play golf, right? Hey, I shot 77. Nobody says, yeah, did you play the white tees or the blue tees? Nobody says that.
That's a good point.
If I'm
9
part
holes
owner,
or 18 holes?
yeah,
That's a good
these are
point.
nobody
small
says that
details.
either.
It's a good
so,
point.
hey, part owner, get out of here. Really, you're part owner? You must have loads of money.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I do.
It's not bad. Yeah, I do. I got a backyard fireplace and everything, man. Feeling extra cozy.
Someday I'm going to have owner next to my
Of
name.
something.
Of something.
Of something. You know, you can go on Facebook and get
Other than a house.
Get like a pyramid scheme, right? Like you can own it. Like you can start your own company if you want.
Yeah.
I don't want to call anybody out because they might sponsor us one day, but you know, there's those pyramid schemes
Absolutely.
out there.
There's plenty of them.
Yeah.
If you want to sponsor us, that's fine. I don't want to be a part of one because I don't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
But we'll certainly take your money.
And then if the cops come, like, we don't know you.
I don't speak for the rest of the station.
No,
Just for
you
the
speak
show.
for you and I, and that's all that matters, man. We are the station.
I will endorse your pyramid
Yeah,
scheme.
absolutely. But if the cops are asking questions, we don't know you.
The Jags, man. The Jags. There's a couple of takeaways from the Jags yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
One is they continue to fight their butt off, but that's whatever, right? I mean, they're supposed to. They're pros. You would even say that. Used to play. I'll take it. The other thing is, man, Minnesota should be way better than they are. Minnesota's bad. Like, listen, Kirk Cousins not it.
No.
He's not. Now, I said that about Baker Mayfield last week, and he goes out and has like the performance of a lifetime.
Yeah.
But, Lynn, I know there's been this back and forth on Kirk Cousins, but that is about as uninspiring of a football team loaded with star talent and big money guys that I can remember. I mean, the Browns didn't look great out here in Jacksonville the other day, but, I mean, this was I need to win this game for the Minnesota Vikings, And the Jags played better than them. The Jags were better than them. Outside of turnovers and penalties, and probably Mike Glennon at quarterback, to be honest with you, the Vikings would have, should have, could have lost that game. And that's the way it goes in sports. But that was uninspiring. Like, if I'm a Minnesota fan, it must be frustrating to be a Minnesota fan because they are way better on paper than they play. I mean, they have the best back maybe in the NFL. They have a $100 million quarterback. They have the best rookie receiver in the NFL this year. They have a Pro Bowl receiver. I understand their offensive line is not good, but still, like, how can you have all that and be that mediocre?
They have pretty great tight ends, too, when they're healthy, and Kyle Rudolph and Irv Smith Jr. So, like, they're set on offense. I completely agree with you. Obviously, the Achilles heel of that team is Kirk Cousins. Now, he threw for 3 touchdowns, so give him a little props. But it wasn't a good 3 touchdowns.
It kind of was like Baker Mayfield, right?
Yeah.
He had good numbers last week. But if you watched the game, it was a little a little unsettling.
Yeah.
I kind of put Kirk Cousins in the same. Now, listen, their offensive line stinks. Mm-hmm. When we went to training camp with the Jags, practiced against the Vikings in 2018, beautiful week up there in Minnesota. And both teams thinking they're really good, right? Because both teams had made a run in 17 and came a game away from going to the Super Bowl, which was in Minneapolis. Their offensive line stunk then. Like, their offensive line was a problem. They have not been able to fix their offensive line. They're much like the Cincinnati Bengals. They cannot be good enough at offensive line. Jags defense of line, who had 11 sacks going in, absolutely dominated the front of the Vikings yesterday.
They did, but at the same time, and listen, I agree with you. I think that obviously, I think the problem is Kirk Cousins more than the offensive line, but the offensive line isn't that good as well. But then when you have Dalvin Cook run for 120 yards, it's like, well, he didn't do that bad. But now keep in mind, it was...
How many carries did he have?
32 rushes, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of carries, but still.
Thank gosh they had overtime. At one time, he had like 14 carries for 36 yards.
Yeah.
And Dalvin's still dangerous, but they finally gave it to him in overtime. It just wasn't like this eye-popping, wow, Dalvin Cook really stole the show. Like, you didn't leave that game like, Dalvin Cook, wow.
I left thinking that, man, they need a slot corner, to cover Adam Thielen. Yeah. And Justin Jefferson's going to be pretty damn good.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I left.
Jefferson's good. Yeah. He's a good player. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like they should be better. Listen, we're around here. We got 11 losses in a row. I mean, the Jags aren't good, but I'm just looking at these teams. And again, it's a one-off thing sometimes, but Minnesota's kind of been like this now for years. They've been not as good as they should be. They're not even in the ballpark of the Green Bay Packers, man. No. I mean, that's not that. You could play that 4 weeks in a row and maybe they win once because it's sports in the NFL, but 3 out of 4 times, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are going to thump them.
Yeah. And keep in mind, like, yes, the Vikings caused some turnovers. I like to see that. But, like, that defense, like, Mike Zimmer's a defensive-minded coach. I know. Right? Now, I get it. Eric Hendricks goes out in warm-ups doing karaokes, which was bizarre.
That's weird.
Never seen that before. But at the end of the day, when you have a team that can run the ball like the Vikings, you got to play complementary football. And that defense right now, and I get it, you let go of Yannick Ngakoue, Hunter's on the IR. But overall, man, that Vikings defense, like, if you're Mike Zimmer, you can't put your name on that defense. You simply cannot do it.
Yeah, they're going now. Say all this, and they're in the 7 hole now. Yeah, I mean they're in the playoffs. So
who isn't though besides the Jaguars, Brent?
Yeah, I mean they moved into the Arizona spot. Yesterday. So
don't get me started with Arizona.
Yeah,
by the way.
We'll go there tomorrow.
He's hurt. What do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, he must be.
He's got a shoulder injury,
and he had that a few weeks ago. He's playing through it.
Man, what a warrior. 3 touchdowns yesterday for Kyler Murray, and he's got a bum shoulder. Man, unbelievable.
I'm just wondering who had a bigger demise over the last few weeks, Gardner Minshew or Kyler Murray.
No, I think we know the answer to that question.
I mean, Gardner Minshew went from starting quarterback to the sideline. I'm sorry, Minshew did. Kyler Murray went from MVP candidate to like.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did we make the right pick?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did someone get benched from Mike Glennon? Was it Kyler Murray? I don't think so. Next question.
No, Kyler Murray is a better agent. That's
Next
all I got to say.
Next question. Oh, wow. Shots fired. Shots fired.
All right, we'll get it. I'm not starting the show with the Minshew Glennon stuff. I'm just not doing it. I've done it for a month in a row.
Are you in a good mood or what? What are you trying to say right now?
Nah, it's a tired topic coming from me. I mean, we'll eventually get to it, but it continues to not make a lot of sense. But we'll get into it. The other part of yesterday was, I mean, it's seriously, and I know you probably want to block your ears, but it was like, it seriously had drama. Like you were in it was the last week of the regular season, and people are fighting for a wild card. Stuart, what was it a couple years ago? Remember the Bills? Was it the Bills on like the last week of the season, and somebody else were vying for a spot? and it might have been the year actually the Jags went to the playoffs. Like that's why they played the Bills, because like
that is plausible. Yes.
The last game of the Sunday, and it came down to a final couple of plays, and it went back and forth.
It was the Ravens. It was the Bills. And there was one other team, wasn't there?
I think there was. I think it was a third team.
Yeah.
But it kind of...
Go and ask Stuart for it when I have the answer right here. It's all right, though. It's good.
I don't know if you had, where you were in 2017. And Stuart didn't know the answer anyway. But
I was cold that year.
It was kind of like that at the end of the year, like when you're jockeying for that last spot, which teams will be in a few weeks. But, I mean, that Jets game, that was the most dramatic part of the season.
Yeah.
Like, it was going on at the same time as the Jags are tying it up on a 2-point conversion. The Jets are holding off the Raiders. The Raiders are calling timeouts, getting the ball back. The Jags are going to overtime. It's 3rd and 27 for Minnesota, and you're like, I can't believe this is happening. The Jags are going to finally win a game when the Jets win a game. Like, it's going to happen. And then the Jets. I mean, that is a talker today. Greg Williams got fired.
As he should. Don't do a cover zero when
you've played the game.
Yeah.
I've got Dan Orlovsky telling me on social media that Greg Williams always does this. Okay, he all out blitzes and he shows
he does all out blitz
even when Hail Mary situations, doesn't give the guy time.
Okay.
I'm telling you, man, I am not a defensive guru. I'm not an X's and O's guy. I just don't. This does not make any sense. The situation is the Raiders had 13 seconds to go with no timeouts, 46 yards away from the end zone.
Yeah.
I mean, they have time for 2 plays, most likely. And if they hit the middle of the field, they probably don't have time to even go up and spike it if they get the first down, because it was 3rd down in this situation. On top of the horrible call, the defender and now it slips my mind, but on Ruggs, why didn't he just have pass interference and the spot of the foul would give it to him at like the 20?
Yeah.
And so one more play. Once he beats you, grab him, tackle him. So many things go wrong. But the call is absolutely atrocious. It is seriously, and it's probably because we're in this situation with the Lawrence talk and the Fields talk and the Tank talk and the 1 and 2 pick. So, I mean, you got to know where we're all coming from here in Jacksonville. But it seriously is like the most obscene call I have seen in a situation like that, where you actually ask, did they call that play on purpose to lose the game?
Yeah. Listen, Twitter was ablaze for the most part of that 4th quarter during that Jets and Raiders game. So I had the Jaguars on the big screen, and then I was watching the Jets Raiders on like my cell phone. And obviously, first of all, Jaguars fans, don't ever invest yourselves in the New York Jets. That's rule number 1. Don't ever depend on the New York Jets for anything. Like, the New York Jets are that deadbeat friend that you should probably cut out of your life, but you keep on hanging on to, okay? They're the worst team in the NFL for a reason. Adam Gase is the worst coach in the NFL for a reason. Just remember that. Don't count on the Jets for anything, because they're never going to disappoint you then. So now, getting back to that whole play call and how all that stuff transpired here. Yes, I agree with you. Greg Williams or I guess it was Dan Orlovsky. Greg Williams is an extremely live by the blitz, die by the blitz type of coach. I think any player, any coach in those circles would agree with that. So I'm not taking that away from him. Okay? And sometimes in this game, when you go to that prevent defense, what do fans always say? Well, you're just sitting back, letting them, dink and dunk. Let's be honest, though. In this game, in that situation, you had time for 2 passes, right?
2 plays.
2 plays. 2 plays, and then you're done.
Maximum.
Yeah. Why you would put, and I get it, Ruggs wasn't really having the best day when that pass, when he caught that game when
he's
he
not
passed.
having the best year, quite frankly.
Not having the best year. I get that. But why you wouldn't set your defense up to succeed? And don't get me wrong. When a coach calls a blitz, Brent, you get excited.
Yeah.
Like, if you're on defense, like, you embrace that. That's what it's all about. Oh, yeah, we're going to send more than they can handle. Let's go party in the backfield. It's going to be a sack party back there, sack lunches for everybody. Nom. But when you got 2 plays left and you call a blitz and you put your corner on an island against...
Cookie Monster just made an appearance on the show.
But when you got 2 plays left and you put your corner on an island like that with Ruggs, it makes 0 sense whatsoever. You're asking for problems. You're asking for trouble. So, yeah, I think Greg Williams definitely deserved to be fired from that decision. I think it was a horrible decision. And if I'm Adam Gase, I'm calling timeout, and I'm saying, hey, do we have the plan in place here? Do we know what we're going to do? Because the most ironic thing of today, waking up the next morning, seeing that Greg Williams is now fired, you know who fired him? Adam Gase. It was Adam Gase's decision. Just got announced a couple minutes ago. Adam Gase chose to fire Greg Williams.
Well, there's already been dysfunction there.
Yeah, obviously. But I'm just saying, what does it do for your resume when Adam Gase fires you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now,
well, it's not like the owner fired him or anybody like that, which, by the way, the head coach is going to make those calls at the end of the day. But that's why I'm wondering if the owner's they're celebrating the call from Greg Williams.
Well, and I'm sure he is, right? Like, I'm not naive to that either. But I saw some narrative saying, well, the Jets meant to do that, right? Like, it came from Gase or even like the higher up saying that play was a setup. Okay,
I feel like I was watching a movie. They looked up in the suite and it's like,
and listen,
there's the signal.
And and one would say that if it's a Hail Mary situation and you got cover 0 on or engage 8 if you're a Madden player, one would say that is a setup. But I don't buy into that narrative, though, and here's why. If you're Greg Williams, the writing's on the wall. You're not going to be in New York next year. If you're Adam Gase, the writing's on the wall. You're not going to be in New York next year. So these decisions that you make right now, these decisions, whether it's play calling, roster management, these are the decisions that you have to explain to your next, suitors, if you will, that are trying to hire you. If you're Greg Williams, you have to go into a meeting one day, if you're going to be a defensive coordinator, you're going to explain why you called the cover 0, on a Hail Mary situation. So, no, I don't think that came down from above, and Greg Williams is like, yeah, let me go ahead and throw away my career for a team that I'm going to be here next year. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, and I get that. I feel like it's more like it's if I ask that, I said, hey, all right, in your heart of hearts, like, do you really feel like they threw the game? I just can't. I don't think so. But it was such a bad call. It's like nobody makes that call. Like, who does that? It just is so. It was unbelievable. Like, it still is unbelievable. Like, there's no reasoning for it. I'd almost like to hear Greg Williams talk about it more. But the players were even like, I can't believe we were in that situation. And they want to win. That's the thing. It's like the players want to win. They're not all in. Listen, at the end of the day, Greg Williams will be heralded potentially some 5-10 years down the road, depending on how Trevor Lawrence does. People will look back at this moment and be like, thanks, Greg. Yeah. Thanks for making the call. Because if Lawrence is good and that's – but the Jets are now – like, if they lost that game, like you said, don't invest in the Jets. The Jets are not winning.
Yeah.
Like, they are okay with going 0-16.
They're the worst team in football. And if you're a Jaguars fan, you'd be foolish to put any kind of stake in the New York Jets. Just don't do it.
Meanwhile, the Jags are scaring the heck out of us if you're in the tank camp because they keep, 4 out of the last 5 games.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this. They've come close so often. Does that bode well for next year? A lot of times teams that lose close games, they make a couple of changes here or there. They add some players, and you know what? They weren't that far away. Yeah. As far away as the record. That's why teams go up and down in the NFL so rapidly, unlike other sports. Does this bode well for the Jags moving forward into 2021? We'll talk about it on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Thanks for coming along here on a Monday on ESPN 690.
Jets coming. Carr put some air under it. Wide open is Ruggs for the touchdown.
It was tough. We fought hard to put ourselves in a position to win. That's the point in the game. We just got to be in a better call.
That's Marcus May, I'm assuming. Just got to be in a better call. He said it like 8 times. But, here's the thing about I feel like we're in New York. Can you imagine New York today? But I don't know what. New York might not be mad because they see the big picture, too.
Go on Twitter and see what they said. First thing I did. They're excited.
I bet they are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're throwing parades in the streets today.
I wondered this. So a weird way to look at it, but I was thinking of, like, all the chatter we are having in town about being bad. Yep. All the chatter they're having in New York about being bad and kind of looking ahead. And I'm not even just talking about the tank stuff. Like, whether it's talking about firing coaches, whether it's talking about the ownership, whether it's talking about the players, whatever. If you took the last like Cincinnati doesn't really fit in here to me because I don't feel like they lost Joe Burrow, so that kind of is different. But like maybe the Chargers, okay? So take like the Jags, the Chargers, who are just embarrassing right now. I mean, on special teams and some of the coaching moves, Anthony Lynn's going to lose his job. I mean, it's getting embarrassing. Much like Gase. Like, that's one thing I'll say for Doug Marrone. It's not really embarrassing. Like I still hammer Doug right now for not playing Minshew. But, and I just can't get over that. Like I just can't. Like I just wish Doug would stop saying he gives us the best chance to win Mike Glennon because I just don't believe that. Like,
it's not true.
And I don't really think it's true. Like
Brent, you watched the Vikings game. How is that true?
Yeah, like how can you say after a guy threw 2 picks, a guy threw a touchdown that should have been a pick, a guy that had a safety, and a guy that fumbled, gave you the best chance to win? Like, no, I mean, one of the knocks against Minshew is he was turning the ball over a little bit or like might not hold on to the football in spots or, you just can't tell me that. So anyway, I'm critical of Marrone in that. But you can't criticize a lot else in terms of they look like they're developing players a bit. I mean, some of these guys are coming to life, the young guys. They're playing hard, like all that stuff. You can sit there and criticize Anthony Lynn, though, for lining people up on the field the wrong way. Their special teams is atrocious. Like, it looks like I'm watching a high school football game sometimes. And then you go to Gase and Greg Williams and what they did yesterday. And Greg Williams, as wrong as he was, Gase says about an hour ago, hey, yeah, I fired him. It's not acceptable. And then somebody said, well, why didn't you stop the play? It's like, I should have called timeout. Well, that's on you too, you moron.
Listen, the Jets know exactly what they're doing. All right? You keep Adam Gase steering this ship into oblivion, and you reap the benefits at the end by getting Trevor Lawrence, and then you dismiss Adam Gase, say, thanks for your services, we'll take Trevor Lawrence, and you be on your way. That's what's going on in New York. Hands down.
Yeah.
I mean, like, listen, Brent, you've seen the interviews. Like, you've seen just the craziness. Like, at least with Doug Marrone, yes, we both agree. Mike Glennon should not be starting against the Tennessee Titans if you truly want to win a football game. So go and put the whole winning is the most important thing to bed. Because from the coaching standpoint, it's not. Now, from the player's standpoint, well, no kidding. Guys are fighting for jobs right now. But from the coaching standpoint, I'm not going to co-sign on it. But with Adam Gase, man, of all the crazy things that he's said, he's interacted with the media, the decisions, there is no way Adam Gase right now doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, I hear you. So my point of this, though, was take the Jets, Jags, Chargers, okay? And you could throw another team in there. But I was wondering this yesterday. I'm like, I wonder if there's more chatter and more emotion and more whatever about these kind of teams, like in the bottom 4 or 5 of the NFL, than there are even about the top tier teams in the NFL right now. Like, obviously when you get to the playoffs, people are going to be talking about them. But like, is the Pittsburgh fan base, is the Green Bay fan base, is the Saints fan base, they're not really filled with emotion. Yeah. They're enjoying things. Everybody's happy in those fan bases, right? I mean, to be honest with you, this time of year right now with like 4 weeks to go, it's more fun in essence to do. It's not fun, but it's more like there's more to grab at. I mean, being like these bottom tier teams, especially on a day like yesterday when you had the back and forth and you got 2 crown jewels potentially at quarterback out there next year's draft. I mean, it's just an amazing deal, right? That's why the NFL is king. Yeah. And I'm not saying this doesn't happen, but it doesn't happen in Major League Baseball. If you stink, you stink. Like the season was over for the Baltimore Orioles and the Red Sox like halfway through. In NBA, the lottery pick matters, but there's no guarantee you're getting it. And so you're just in the conversation. So even being terrible, you're like, oh, gosh, we're terrible, and we might not even get the number 1 pick. But in the NFL, like being a bottom feeder team evokes emotion and conversation almost more than even if you're like a top tier team. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it starts to be a parody though. Like that's the bad thing. Like, yeah, they're talking about you, but guess what? It's not for the right reasons, you know. And especially a team like the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, let's be honest, the optics the past 3 years, no bueno. And then you want to kind of pile on a 1-win season possibly on top of it. It's hard to swallow.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Now, let's be honest. If you go through those suffering seasons year after year after year, and you come away with the number 1 pick, I understand that, man. Because then it's like, well, you know what? Maybe it was all worth it.
Yeah.
Even maybe Justin Fields at the number 2 slot might make it feel all worth it. But right now, the way I look at it, yeah, they're laughing at the Jaguars still. And it's not for the right reasons.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's what I want to know. The Jags lose to the Tennessee Titans early on by 3 points. They get smacked by the Dolphins, but they lose by a possession of the Bengals. It felt a little bit more than a possession, to be honest, but they did lose by a possession. They get beat up pretty good by the Texans and the Lions, which was brutal. The Chargers, they lose by double digits, so I won't count that. So you go back and you have the Titans game and maybe the Bengals game. So that's 2. But now you have 4 of the last 5 games where you lose on a 2-point conversion. You lose on you have the ball on the other side of Green Bay's field with 2 minutes to go and plenty of time, but the rookie quarterback and the offensive line just mess it up.
Yeah.
You get hammered by the Steelers, fine, but you get the Browns and you have a 2-point conversion, and then you lose in overtime to a Vikings team that might be going to the playoffs, quite frankly. So my question is, those are 6 out of the 11 losses by a possession or less, and 5 of the losses by 4 points or less. Mm-hmm. Does that bode well for the future? You're going to revamp things. You're going to bring in a new GM, a new coach, a new culture or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But you're also going to add pieces in free agency. You're going to most likely get yourself a franchise quarterback and other young players around. And these guys now are hardened a bit after a year of losing, but being so close they could taste it that it drove them nuts. And they're also going to mature a little bit and hopefully develop.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the way the NFL is built to get better quickly. I just wonder, it did cross my mind after losing 4 out of 5 and the way they're playing and the way I'm starting to see some young guys develop, that Jags could be one of those teams that go from like 1 win, and I'm not saying they're going to win 12, okay? But, I mean, to see them win 8 or even 9 games with good quarterback play next year, would it stun you?
So there's 2 kind of branches of thought that I want to break up right now. First of all, the way these players play the last, 3 or 4 or 5 games, it tells you a lot because there's nothing on the line. You're not going to the playoffs. You're not going to the Super Bowl. Expectations were not reached. So you know that in the back of your head. So if you're a player, you're playing for pride and you're playing for honor and you're playing for essentially your job for the next coaching staff to come in, throw on that film and say, we want this guy on our team. So that's the players thing. Now, you're also talking about from a team dynamic in terms of momentum. When you lose these close games going into next season, will that have some kind of effect? I compare it to 2012. Now, that was Mike Mularkey's only year. We only won 2 games. Horrible season, obviously. But if I remember correctly, we had like 3 or 4 games that went in overtime, right? And those games, obviously, we probably should have won some of those overtime games. But towards the end of the season, we started playing better ball. But I remember going into the next year then with the new coaching staff and Gus Bradley in that spring, we weren't like, well, man, we lost these games in overtime. Like, it's going to turn around. You know, like, there was never that conversation.
Yeah.
The only conversation that was had in that locker room when Bradley came in was, guys, we won 2 games last year. That's horrible. I think we went 1-7 or 1-8, whatever it was, at home. We can't do that. So, like, that's what that narrative was. Like, we didn't really have any momentum. It's just like, this can't happen again. Now, obviously, Bradley comes in, and the rest is history. But that's what the narrative was.
Too. They took it wasn't a lot of, like, scar tissue left over. It wasn't like they were building off something. Yeah. They actually went backwards. They said, okay, we got some guys here, but we're going to go back. We're going to peel the Band-Aid off big time here. Mm-hmm. That's not going to be the case next year. Guys are going to come in, and a lot of the players you see this year are going to play next year on this football team.
Sure.
And then they're only going to add around it. And then they're hopefully going to change a little bit of a mentality. They'll pick better, coach better, all this stuff, whatever you want to throw in there. But I think it is a little bit more reminiscent. And listen, I do not want to over-dramatize this, okay? Mm-hmm. But it's a little bit more reminiscent of 16 because the Jags had this young talent that you expected to do better with Gus in 16, and they obviously went 3-13, I think it was that year. But like you could see some of it. Like it wasn't, you could tell Jalen Ramsey was a good player, right? I mean, you could tell some of these guys were pretty good football players. And for whatever reason, they weren't winning. Well, everybody blamed the head coach, and they get Tom Coughlin in, they get Doug Marrone in, they add pieces, right? And they hit it big in free agency. They had Calais, they had A.J. Boye, they had some of the other guys. And then they got improved play from players like Blake Bortles. I know he didn't end up being the centerpiece, but still they got improved quarterback play. Now, the Jags are going to pick potentially Justin Fields. I would assume that this kid, even as a rookie quarterback, could play better than some of the quarterback play they've had. Sure. I don't know how great. I don't know where the ceiling is. And there's a caveat there, no doubt. But you would just think if you add a couple of pieces with some of the money you have, I'm not even saying you have to spend it all, and you add more young players, but to go along with these guys and develop them more, man, you could have a situation where, 8 wins doesn't seem great, but going from 1 win potentially to 8 wins is a huge jump.
No, it is.
I wouldn't even think 9 wins would be super out of the equation if you get fortuitous bounces and a little lucky. 10 wins seems a little crazy to me. Like 10 wins seems like, Brent, slow down, man. They're not doing that. So I understand that. I'm even questioning myself if you say that.
Here's the thing, though, and this is geared more towards the defense right now than it is the offense. And let's be honest, the defense, I think they have taken steps, right? I mean, they have appeared to be better these past couple games. But if you want to talk about right now the starters that started in Minnesota or the starters that started in Green Bay, how many of those guys that started those games realistically are going to be starters next year, Brent, would you say? You know what I'm trying to get at here?
Yeah, that's fair. Listen, we know the linebackers.
Yes.
Okay, and by the way, it's good to see Joe Schobert having some games now and making some plays.
That's
a good thing. No, yeah. But he had 10-plus tackles. Yeah, he had a sack. Those are good things. I don't think the secondary will be, like Jared Wilson could potentially still be here. I think he's still a very solid player for you. Yeah. Something you can rely on. I do think a guy like Smoot could be in the rotation, man. Like, yeah. I'm still seeing – I keep a guy like DeJuan Smoot. I like him. Chason showed up better, at least according to, like, Pro Football Focus. I didn't see it with my eyes as much, but it looked like he was more effective than he had been. So – I don't know how to answer their question. I understand what you're saying. C.J. Henderson's not out there. Yeah. Josh Allen's not out there. Probably your interior defensive linemen are not out there.
I guess he's hurt now, too, though.
Yeah, he wasn't out there. But Josh Jones.
Was Barku out there?
Yeah, see, Barku's a guy, like, I don't think he'll be a depth
player.
He's
going to be here, but he's not going to be starting.
But he's not going to be starting. So your point's fine.
Yeah.
Here, just to kind of put an exclamation on my point. In 16, they lost 8 games by a possession or less. 8 games. And I'll even take it further. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games by 5 points or less. So, because sometimes, I don't know, I can't remember the game flow of that stuff. They might have scored late to make it look better. But still, 5 games by 5 points or less. This team has now lost 5 games by 4 points or less.
Yeah.
So
we'll go to show those extra points, Brent, are big deal.
Yeah, extra points. It'll be really interesting. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if there's any kind of symmetry there between 16 and 17 versus 20 and 21 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And again, they've got a bevy of money and a bevy of picks, including the most important pick. They will get a quarterback of some kind. And if they hit that, then they have a real chance.
Listen, at the end of the day, I'm not going to make excuses for losing. You either win or you learn or you lose. Simple as that. But if you're a Jaguars fan, and I get you're trying to get that top spot in the draft, but you like to see your team peaking and playing better towards the end of the season than you do towards the beginning of the season. And right now, I think we're seeing a team who's playing a better brand of football, not a winning brand of football per se, but a better brand of football towards the end of the season.
That's why I can't give Doug Marrone and the coaching staff too much credit, but they changed things around the bye week defensively, and that seems to be working. But I also see the development of players. Like, people will say, what about the development of players? And I think that has happened. I mean, Colin Johnson is better now than he was. Now, partly because they weren't playing him.
Yeah.
Maybe that's on them, too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we always wrestle with that. So, I mean, Doug Costin's playing better. Have they developed him? I think you got to give him some credit for that along the way. So, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we are going to get in the quarterback situation a little bit. Glennon, Minshew, tight ends. Have they changed? I want to see on your eyes, is the defense that different, or am I just seeing things because I'm 43 and have bad vision? We'll talk about it next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Monday. I'm Jake Mitchell. Even though the Jags were able to push it to overtime, they eventually lost the game 27-24. Here's head coach Doug Marrone on the loss.
Hey, listen, today we turned the ball over. We gave up points on turnovers. We did some things that we were trying to get done. We still had an opportunity late in the game. Defense had a really good stop, and then we get a penalty on a special team play. We started off deep, and then the pick. So, there's a lot of things that are going on that, we'll continue to keep fighting and keep working our way through.
And according to the coach, Mike Glennon will continue to be the starter at QB despite throwing 2 picks, including the one that led to the losing score from Minnesota. And stepping away from football momentarily, looks like Floyd Mayweather is coming out of retirement to lace them up again, this time against YouTuber Logan Paul, who made headlines for KOing former NBA player Nate Robinson. The bout is set for pay-per-view on February 20th. You're working from home and want to listen to ESPN? Tell your smart speaker to play ESPN 690.
Hey everyone, this is Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 10 different platforms. But if you missed the show today, you missed this. Are the Buffalo Bills for real?
I think they are. I mean, I've been a big Josh Allen supporter.
How about his start?
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm not surprised.
I guess Jalen Ramsey wasn't right about him being trash. Subscribe to the podcast and check the show out on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Get the podcast daily. All you have to do is search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At Lloyd's Construction and Consulting, we've been celebrating 10 years in business. Over the years, we've constructed thousands of projects in the Northeast Florida region. For commercial to residential, we handle each project with the respect and care it deserves. We look forward to speaking with you about your next construction project. Find out more at lloydsconstruction.net.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Paid for by Get Upside. This is Matt Crowder live at the Shell station on 41st Street, reporting on the free gas app called Get Upside. That's letting people all over the country earn cash back on every gallon of gas they buy. Excuse me, miss. Have you heard of the Get Upside gas app?
Of course. People are earning as much as $300 a year with the Get Upside app. It's so easy. You just take a picture of your gas receipt and get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time you buy gas.
Wow. Well, there you have it. Stop paying full price for gas. Download the free Get Upside gas app and earn up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. This is Matt Crowder, Radio News Network. Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents per gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code GREAT for a 50 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 75 cents per gallon on your next tank. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift for Amazon and other brands. Earn cash back on gas on every fill-up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code GREAT. That's GREAT.
When it comes to buying your next ride, everybody wants to save big. Well, you can With my friends at Arlington Toyota, right now they're having their 50% off pre-owned event. You heard right. You can save thousands when you pay up to 50% less MSRP on pre-owned at Arlington. And Arlington's got over 400 vehicles ready for you to choose from. You want to save on a Corolla? Get to Arlington where you can buy a pre-owned 2020 Corolla LE for just $11,991. Everybody loves Camrys. And with up to 50% less, you can get a pre-owned 2020 Camry SE from just $17,991. Now, if you love the RAV4, then get one and save big at Arlington, where a pre-owned 2020 RAV4 XLE can be yours from just $19,991. Leave it to the #1 volume Toyota dealer in Northeast Florida to also give you a 30-day exchange policy with your purchase. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. It's the 50% off pre-owned event happening right now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota/50off for full offer details.
Worthless warranties, slimy salespeople, shady subcontractors. It's no wonder people don't trust most roofing companies. At All Pro Roofing and Consulting LLC, we didn't trust them either. That's why we started our own roofing company. With more than 25 years of experience, we offer industry-leading warranties, simple, fair financing, and no subcontractors. Residential, commercial, even multifamily properties. At All Pro Roofing and Consulting, we've got you covered. Learn more at allproroofingllc.com.
I'm Dr. Baker, an ER physician. If you're having leg pain, swelling, or redness, but haven't talked to your doctor yet, don't wait. This could be deep vein thrombosis, a blood clot which could travel to your lungs and lead to a pulmonary embolism, which could cause chest pain or discomfort or difficulty breathing and be deadly. Your symptoms could mean something serious, so don't wait. Talk to a doctor right away, by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
The Max Kellerman Show.
Doug Peterson, if you are losing by 11, I love aggression in coaches, but there is such a thing as situational football.
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And now, watch exclusively on ESPN+.
I just want to see, more practice. I think, he's working on his volume and the amount of throws and all of that. He's obviously cleared medically, but, still you want to be able to see those things on the practice field. I just think right now in practice, Mike is throwing better and gives us the best chance to win. And, I don't think Gardner's, 100% as far as his workload. And, that's always a concern to me, and I'm trying to understand it, and we're both trying to work through it.
Doug Marrone on Gardner Minshew. Hey, do you have the whiteboard?
Yeah, I need a marker, though.
I know. I'll get one for later.
All right, cool.
But we need to free Minshew.
Yeah.
I mean, we need a free Minshew. That's what
Minshew Fridays. That's what it should be. Pre-Minshew Fridays.
That's what the whiteboard was intended for.
Should I put it in my speech bubble?
Maybe that's a good idea.
Yeah. Instead of good luck with that, go with free Minshew.
Listen, I can't get over it.
Let's get it, Brent.
I can't.
Let's get into it.
I can't get over it. I'm trying not just to be so disrespectful on this front. But Doug said it again post game. He didn't even hesitate yesterday to say Glennon's our guy. Mm-hmm. And he said he still thinks it gives the best chance to win. I mean, Doug, you just spent 3 hours watching this guy turn it over twice, get a safety, fumble it over again, so really 3 times, and get lucky as heck on the Chenault touchdown.
Well, now, keep in mind, though, he said Glennon gives us the best chance to win this time, which out of character for Doug Marrone, because last time he said Mike Glennon gives us the best chance. Didn't say what best chance was for any. It could have been the best chance for, Trevor Lawrence. But now Doug Marrone's doubling down, maybe even tripling down and saying he gives us the best chance to win. Yeah. Get him, Brent.
There are people in the organization right now or close to the organization that really don't like Minshew playing.
Sure.
They really don't, okay? And, they know probably more about football than I know. Mm-hmm. But they don't love the idea that Minshew's playing or even bringing him back, or they think he's terrible. And they actually believe that Mike Glennon gives them a better chance to win.
Mm-hmm. There's so much
irony.
Listen,
I don't know as much football as a lot of people in town. I don't claim to.
Can we get a button of that, please? Say that up. Brent Martineau.
But Gardner Minshew gives you a better chance to win than Mike Glennon. I'm sorry, Mike. I think Mike has done an admirable job coming in. Mike Glennon has 6 wins in his 7-year career. Mm-hmm. Gardner Minshew has 7 wins in his short Jacksonville Jaguars career. Yeah. That's with the Jaguars, by the way, who don't win very often.
Yeah.
He got 6 last year, and he got 1 this year. And he's healthy. And he's backing up Mike Glennon. And you're going into, and you continuously tell us that this guy gives you the best chance to win. It's not true. Like, just say something else other than that. Like, don't tell us all the dirt behind it. Don't have to tell us that he's in the doghouse. You don't tell us that you're pissed off at him for whatever the injury stuff and agent stuff. Whatever. But just don't tell us that Mike Glennon gives us a better chance to win. Because, by the way, you're not just telling us. There's no way in hell you can sell that in that locker room. People, do you really think people believe that in that locker room?
They shouldn't, Brent. No, they definitely shouldn't. And listen, I broke this down a lot in my 3 observations video, my 3 takeaway videos that you guys can find on the Action Sports Jacks YouTube page. But basically, I said it like this. And like literally, I feel like a conspiracy theorist making his own crazy YouTube video saying they're lying to you. They're lying to you. Don't buy into it. But like that's what we become now. Like that's where I feel like I'm at as someone that covers this team. You're absolutely lying to yourself if you think Mike Glennon gives you a better chance to win than Gardner Minshew. We saw it yesterday. How many turnovers was Mike Glennon responsible for yesterday? And keep in mind, the 1 touchdown that he threw shouldn't have even been a touchdown.
No.
Okay?
I mean, listen,
now, sometimes it's better
sometimes.
Sometimes be a bit lucky than skilled. I get that. Should not have been a touchdown on Laviska Shenault. Not even close.
3 turnovers and a safety.
9 times out of 10, that's the interception. And the most ironic thing of all of this, like we're sitting here right now talking about Gardner Minshew being the backup quarterback. If you're Doug Marrone, all you got to say is he's not 100%. We're not going to put him back out there. He's not 100%. The end. Next question. But the most ironic part about this thing is that if you're Doug Marrone, you're benching the guy that maybe got you the job here another year in the first place. Because we've been very adamant about this. When Doug Marrone and Dave Caldwell were sitting in their meeting trying to keep their jobs with Shad Khan, I guarantee they dangled Gardner Minshew out there and said, hey, look what we got over here, right? People seem to like him. From a branding perspective, he's good. And guess what? He won some games for us. And maybe he wins some more games this year. So let's give us another shot here. We drafted him. I'm coaching him. And let's see what we got. That's the crazy thing. And you can't sell me on you're trying to win right now. But what about the future, Brent? What about the future? Like, is he going to be the backup quarterback in the future or not? Do you want to get rid of him? Well, then throw him out there for a resume builder. All of a sudden, Gardner Minshew wins maybe 1 game or 2 games that looks good doing it. Guess what? Now other teams come a-calling. No team's going to come a-calling for Mike Glennon. There's no way.
By the way, 2 quick questions, okay, before we go. We're going to get out of here in a minute to the top of the hour. Do the Jags win that game if Gardner Minshew's playing yesterday?
I think they do.
But I think there's no doubt they do. Mm-hmm. Like, they were the better team overall, but they had a quarterback making mistakes. Now, if Mike Glennon plays the way he did against Cleveland, and again, I think this is not an indictment on Glennon. I think he's come in here for a guy who hasn't played in a few years and done a pretty admirable job. He's made some good throws, made some plays. He did lead them to the tying touchdown, so he's done some good things. I'm just saying overall, my money says Minshew wins that game.
Yeah. One thing. Obviously, Doug Marrone's going to be gone after this year. When he's sitting in that interviewing process, talking to another GM, a bunch of other head coaches, they're going to ask him, hey, what went down with Gardner Minshew and Glennon? Why'd you start Glennon? What is he going to say? I didn't get along with Gardner Minshew? You think that's going to fly in a resume meeting? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go down because we really don't know.
Play the guy that gives you the best chance to win. Simple.
They're not doing it.
And everyone's celebrating it, too.
Gardner Minshew gives you the best chance to win this week against the Titans, too. Absolutely he does. Not Mike Glennon. We'll be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 6-9.
Why call a professional if you're only going to get a half solution? That's my philosophy. You called me to truly fix your problems like, boom. Fixed and fixed right. So when Griffin Service offered full-service drain clearing, I insisted we take that approach. And for drains, it's not really about busting the clog. Sure, we'll do that better than anyone. But honestly, most Jake with a snake chuck in a truck plumbers can bust a clog. Professional quality drain clearing is really about taking an out-of-control situation and putting you, the client, back in control. I'm talking about transparency, with upfront pricing and camera work included in the price, so you know that the problem was fixed and fixed right. Because on the off chance you've got a bigger problem than clog busting can solve, you'll want to know you're dealing with a plumber you can trust, who has all the equipment to fix problems properly and guarantee the work. So call the plumbers to do it right at
GriffinService.com.
License number 1250697.
If you have a specific medical problem, you call a specialist. Broken leg? Call an orthopedist. Cataracts? Call an ophthalmologist. At Prime Men's Medical Center, our doctors specialize in ED and PE. Listen to Dr. Rabinski, a renowned expert in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rabinski. If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications to help you last longer in the bedroom, regardless of age or past medical history, with no pain or surgery. In fact, you'll see results in the office guaranteed or your exam is free. Patients are now lasting for 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And best of all, treatments are affordable.
Men. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, call Prime Men's Medical Center for a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians. Call 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105.
Once in a lifetime holiday savings continue at Beard's Diamonds. Save now through Christmas up to 40% off.
Yes, 40% off.
All GIA certified loose diamonds, all designer settings, pendants, engagement rings, everything store-wide is on sale up to 40% off.
If you're popping the question soon, celebrating a big anniversary.
Make this a holiday she'll never forget. These never-before savings will end December 24th.
Beard's Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
After a car accident, you can feel like you've lost control. I'm Mark Anajar from the law offices of Anajar & Levine. After the crash, call the police and document the scene by taking photos of all the vehicles involved. If you were injured, get medical attention as soon as possible. If you've been involved in a car accident, call the law offices of Anajar & Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Assurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Right now, Allstate has almost as many ways to save as there are types of music. Save for being a new customer. Save for driving safely. Save for driving less with pay-per-mile insurance. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent to get a quote. Find out how much you can save today. Allstate. Now that should be music to your ears.
Not available in every state. Savings based on early signing, discount drive-bys, and mile-wise. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Smoothbrook, Illinois.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar & Levine studios. Anajar & Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening. Greg Williams dismissed as Jets defensive coordinator today. The Jets fired him in the aftermath of his dubious play call late yesterday, an all-out blitz, which left New York with a 3-point loss to the Raiders. Monday Night Football tonight, 49ers Bills. Buffalo looking for a win to maintain that one-game lead on Miami in the AFC East, and the Bills certainly have what it takes to get that W tonight, according to Monday Night Football analyst Louis Riddick.
They really are an explosive team on offense that can hit you in a number of different ways, whether it be running the ball, short passing game, or deep passing game. The quarterback is dialed in right now and playing with just a ridiculous amount of confidence. And then on the defensive side, they are playing better, more so now in terms of stopping the run.
Louis Riddick with Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti. Monday Night Football, 8 Eastern, ESPN TV and the ESPN app. NBA Rockets coach Stephen Silas referring to disgruntled superstar James Harden's absence from training camp as a holdout today, and he said he's not aware of any timetable for Harden to report.
Coming up on Tuesday, the Bears lost an ugly game on Sunday. Have we seen the end of Matt Nagy as their head coach? Is it finally time to clean house in Chicago? I believe so. Only on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
I haven't seen any pointing fingers. It's all of us together, and we win as a team, lose as a team, and I think that mentality is we're all in this together. We obviously would love to win more games, but no pointing fingers if you can't fall at effort. You know, just coming up kind of stories, play hard, but come up short one way or another.
All in this together. High School Musical.
I'm still going to say something that I've said week after week, okay?
Yeah.
These guys, that's gross, by the way, on your part.
Hey, man, Kuz broke that down like a year ago. We had that. Remember he played the song when
I do.
Marrone was okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
I still am a little bit concerned about the lose. I believe this is the way we cover the team more than the reality because of the Zooms and because of the COVID and everything else. But I still am a little bit concerned that, like, I understand Joe Schobert. I get what he's saying. Listen, we're all in this together. We're staying locked in. And Doug has tried like – I'm sorry, Glenn. That was Glennon. It sounds like Schobert. Schobert said the same thing at the top of the show. But
You'll hear those sound bites together tonight on Jags Report Live at 7 o'clock on Fox 30.
They actually do sound very much alike in their cadences and everything else. But anyway, I get it. Like, that's what Doug should be doing, and Doug's doing a great job of that. I mean, he's keeping them kind of lined up and saying, hey, the next week. But I'm just still like, I would like to see helmets flying across the wall. And I mean, we got fans putting their hands through walls because the Jets win. Are the Jags doing that? I mean, are the Jags doing that? That's my question. Like, are they so tired of losing that they're throwing stuff in the locker room?
Yeah.
Like, to this point, you've lost 11 games in a row, and some in maddening style.
Yeah.
I would think somebody would have tossed something by now. And maybe, and again, it's hard. We don't know. We don't have a good feel for the locker room. We're not in it. And usually these are things that you would know. It's the same thing with the Minshew deal. Like, we don't know enough because we're not in there. We can't go up to him in the locker room, even off camera. Yeah. You know, or ask guys like, hey, are you guys wondering what's going on here? You know, those are the things that happen in a locker room. Like, and we can't do that this year. So we have a little bit less of a feel on some of these things that are impacting the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that's the next guy's going to come in here and change that around and just say, hey, this is not acceptable. Like, if we do lose, I am going to throw a chair across the room.
Yeah. No one's throwing chairs anymore in locker rooms.
Why not?
It's 2020 because you can go on Twitter and be cryptic about it.
Dude, I lose a Prize Picks bet or entry. And
which one?
And I throw something.
No, I hear you, man.
I mean, when you compete, you throw stuff. I once almost took out John Bachman on the golf course with my golf club.
I've heard this story. And I feel like lawyers are going to get involved in that one.
Listen, lawyers would have been. I'd be in jail.
I see where you're coming from, right? Like, your ideal of a team that's losing a lot is the next day you see like 5 guys with broken hands doing a press conference. It's like, what happened to your hand? Don't worry about it. And you know, like, he punched something because he was upset that he lost.
Yeah.
That's not how it works anymore.
Like, I understand that's not reality, but I kind of want that,
Well, Brent, as the great Bear Bryant once said, losing's not easy, but the more you lose, the easier it gets.
Well, that's a good one. My sister, by the way, knocked out a loose tooth of mine after I kept whooping her in Mario Kart.
Okay.
So I understand that.
Yeah,
There you go.
Go ahead and put yourself in the same realm as Bear Bryant. There you go, Stuart.
Same.
There you go, Stuart.
Same thing.
Say Bear Bryant's quote again.
Used Yoshi, by the way.
Losing's easy. No, losing's not easy, but the more you lose, the easier it gets.
Well, that's exactly it, though.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's not good.
And I'm paraphrasing. It's something like
I know,
Yeah,
but that's the
structured
point.
more.
That is my point. They're not. They're not comfortable with losing. They're mad they're losing. I get it, but I just don't get the sense from Zoom calls that it's like I wouldn't mind hearing about a fight in the locker room. I really wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like I don't need like 5 of them a week.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind a tirade on the sideline. Like that, somebody now. I mean, heck, the cameras hardly could catch like the game-winning field goal yesterday and the Chenault touchdown. So I'm not sure they would have caught it.
So then, are you saying like when Jared Odrick went crazy, ballistic on the sideline, you were all about that?
When Malik Jackson gets thrown out of a game in against San Diego at the time because he's out of his mind. Like, yes, I think that happens. I think that happens when you lose 11 games in a row, and especially when you lose 5 by 4 points or less, and 4 out of the 5 weeks. Like, I do. I think that stuff happens. I think that's human nature. I'm not saying we would probably come in the next day and rip them for whatever reason, but it's what happens. And it doesn't seem like it's happening here. It's like, well, gave it our all again.
No.
Just came up short.
No, listen.
I say this every week, okay? So it's not like, and I'm just afraid that it has become easier to take.
And you know what? You probably aren't wrong with that. And once again, that goes to show you the kind of culture that's been put in place. But also being a former player, who's won 2 games in one season, a few others like the previous season. Like, I'm here to tell you, just because guys aren't verbally getting it on the sidelines, guys aren't punching walls, guys really aren't coming across as ticked off, they're ticked off. They're ticked off and they're embarrassed. And to make a point here where if there was a guy in that locker room and he did get comfortable losing a little bit too much, and he was like, man, screw this, whatever. Let's just go out there, get a paycheck, and come back in. That guy would be ostracized. That guy would be thrown to the wolves, if you will. Because it doesn't matter if you have 10 wins this season or 0 wins this season. Like, those guys, like, these wins still mean something to those guys in that locker room. And if you have one guy who's trying to go about himself being, I don't care, well, then he'll be called out. And you'll know exactly who it is because that's how the locker rooms work. That's how the NFL works. Simple as that.
Hey, do we have Steven still on the line? Yeah, let's get to him. He's been hanging for a while. Sorry we didn't get to this part of the discussion, but we do now. Steven, what's happening, man? Hope you had a good weekend.
Not too much. I hope you guys had a good weekend, too. I'm just going to say it. Austin, they listen to you. Todd Wash finally listened to you. And I don't know if anybody noticed it. They pushed our big man, Dwan Smoot, to the inside.
Yeah.
And he had a hell of a day as a defensive tackle. Too big to be a defensive end, but a lot faster than your average defensive tackle. And I cannot wait till next year with him, and they better re-sign him, putting Devon Hamilton and him on the inside. You're going to have deadly defensive tackles, in my opinion.
Interesting, Steven. Thanks, man. I appreciate the call.
So I was going to break this down later.
This is perfect, actually. You don't have to go, well, you can do whatever you want with it, but I was going to ask, essentially ask, like, what are they doing differently on defense? It looks different, man, and their defensive efforts have been way better. I know they still give up 27 points, but that was overtime. I mean, their defensive efforts are way better.
Yeah. So first of all, I've been so adamant about this. Like, I feel like I'm a broken record at this point. The big end technique. I don't think it works in the NFL because it takes away essentially what you're trying to do as a defensive end. If you have a defensive end who's athletic, who has a fast get off, then let him get off the ball. But when you're playing a big defensive end, you're playing run first. And when you play run first, you hesitate. They moved Smoot to the 3 technique where you can kind of pin your ears back a little more and go. But that wasn't the biggest takeaway that I saw from that game. And I talked about it a little bit in my breakdown, but I want to get into a little more here. Would you say that Chason probably had his best game yesterday, hands down?
Well, I just want to be in full disclosure. I didn't necessarily notice him that much. I saw Pro Football Focus say he had 5 pressures.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming, I saw him on the field, so I'm standing up a bit. And so he played more than last week,
Brent,
and then he had 5 pressures. So I say yes.
You just said it. What was the first part you said?
Standing up.
Enough said.
Do you think
How
things
many
would
times...
change if I just did the show like this? Do I just have to stand up?
Hey,
have to
Jim
fix the
Cramer,
video
Mad
feed,
Money.
but, you know,
Hey, Jim Cramer,
Show
Mad
off the
Money.
townies.
Let's do it, man. Let's get a little Jim Cramer in here. Put our hands on the table. Start hitting the table a little bit. I just broke my mic.
You already hit the table a lot. But
I know.
by the way, like we can't stand up because you're like 6'6" and I'm 5'10", so that's really the reason.
So let me get you stilts. So let me get you a box.
A
There's
box.
ways around it. So
There's nothing wrong with standing on a box for a segment. Or two sometimes.
So
Thanks.
here's the
Two
thing.
boxes.
So here's the thing about Chason. Now, was he perfect yesterday? Absolutely not. Right? But I saw progress. I'm intrigued now. You know what? And let's be honest. Out of these first rounders this year, we haven't used the word intrigued a lot this year. Chason, I was intrigued by him yesterday.
That's good.
Because they stood him up. It's simple. And some guys can do it right out of college and some guys can't. Right? Where you're essentially, you draft a 3-4 outside linebacker. You bring him into your scheme and you say, all right, man, here's a 3-point stance. Learn it. We're counting on you. You're a first-round pick. He goes out there, what happens? Yeah, you kind of hit or miss a little bit. And I talked about this a lot during training camp. If you remember, my very first day I was at training camp, I said, man, they're doing a lot of drills with Chason to the side where he's in his 3-point stance and his footwork. And I'm not talking about like full-speed drills. I'm just talking about just one step here, slow motion, one step there. And I'm like, why are they – I mean, this is basic stuff. And then I broke it down. I'm like, it dawned on me. That's right. He's never had his hand in the dirt. He's always stood up. And when you've always stood up as a collegiate football player, and then you come to put your hand in the dirt, Brent, it's like playing. It would be like being a pitcher and saying, you know what? You got a great slider, man. Right? Now let's see your curveball. You know what? You got a slider, but now you're going to throw a curve from the rest of your life. Like, it's just, it doesn't happen like that. It takes time. You have to learn how to throw the curveball. You have to learn the proper footwork with your hand in the dirt. And guess what? It does take time because it's one thing to do it in practice. But when you're in the trenches and it's full speed and you're just a fraction of a second off with your footwork or you're a fraction off with your hand placement, you get exposed. And that's what's been happening with Chason all year. So I was glad to finally see, you know what? Let's do what Chason does well. Let's do what really got him in the door in the first place, what we saw on film from college, and that's him standing up. I hope they keep going down that road with him because you could have something special there.
Okay, so overall, you see Chason stand up a little bit. How different is their defense from the bye week? They have played so much better on defense. And by the way, they've had a ton of attrition on defense. So they're not as talented on defense, you would say, on paper. Yeah. Now, they have said, hey, you know what? Forget about Taven Bryan. We ain't doing this. Doug Costin's better than him. But Josh Allen is not on the field, and there's nobody better than him. Mm-hmm. So why has it changed? Like, what? Can you see it? Yeah. Do you see it? What are they doing?
So it's more aggressiveness. Okay? Since that bye week when Doug Marrone said he's going to try some crazy bleep, the biggest difference that I've seen on this Jaguars defense, set aside from being able to adapt a little more, putting Smoot in the 3, standing Chason up, is their blitz packages. Now all of a sudden you're seeing safety blitzes. You're seeing corner blitzes. You're seeing linebacker blitzes. We didn't see that the first 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, it was just,
Schobert got a sack.
Yeah.
I mean, came in and got
It's just, let's go ahead and rush 4 and see how it pans out. And for whatever reason, whether it was their infatuation with Taven Bryan, whether it was the numbers that Josh Allen produced last year, they refused to blitz. They refused to send the house. And now you're seeing a team that's a little more desperate, that's willing to kind of improvise and say, hey, if we can't get home with 4, let's try 5 out and see how that works. And guess what? The blitz that they are calling, they're exotic. They're confusing offensive linemen, and obviously you see it paying dividends a lot more than it did in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I'd like to break some. Maybe the wallet says it all this week. Maybe we can do something there.
Put in the special request, and it will be done, Brent.
Let's do it.
I got you.
Because I'd like a little bit more detail.
So you want to blitz
just
both
something defense. They're doing things differently, man. On defense, it looks different. You can sit and tell me there are different players in there, all this stuff. Well, that's fine. I think some of the young guys are playing well. I think they finally have given up on Taven Bryan. That's fair. Yeah. But they're still doing stuff. The stuff looks different. We've seen this defensive scheme for a long time, and it hasn't looked like this. The pressure, the standing up, the moving around. I mean, is it just a wrinkle here or there? Well, why didn't they do it earlier? Well, why did it take so long to do this? Listen, I'm guilty. I'll hold myself accountable. Taven Bryan, I thought, looked really good in August. I'm like, hey, give some of these guys time, He wasn't like a lottery pick. Mm-hmm. And so I'll be patient with him. But obviously they were way too patient with him, whether that's call from Caldwell in the front office or the coaches were just too patient with him. They're better without him.
Yeah.
They're better with him not playing.
Yeah.
But why should it take – it's a winning business. It's not about making people feel good. I've said this about the quarterback spot before. If that guy isn't good enough, I don't care where you picked him, how much you paid him. Admit your mistake and move to the next guy.
Well, no, that's the thing, right? Because, listen, you show me a GM and a coach that stood behind James Robinson, and I'll show you a Taven Bryan, right? It works both ways. We heard the praises of James Robinson, and you know what? Regardless of how long the tenure of Doug Marrone lasts, you're always going to know that, hey, Doug Marrone was right about that one. You know, when James Robinson, he was right.
Yeah.
But then on the other side of the coin, well, we've heard about Taven Bryan as well. Hey, he's looking better this year. He's not thinking as much. He's looking explosive in training camp. All that verbiage and everything, and let's be honest, I don't think he's even starting anymore.
No,
right?
he's not. He's hardly playing.
So that tells you all you need to know about Taven Bryan. Now, I get it. When you draft a first-round guy like that, Brent, they have a longer leash, right? Because I'm not sure who was responsible for bringing Taven Bryan in. It smells like kind of like a Coughlin move to me because keep in mind, when the Giants were the Giants back in the heyday, they had a lot of defensive linemen, you know, and they would interchange, things like that. It could have been a Coughlin move. It could have been a Dave Caldwell move, but I guarantee Todd Wash, Doug Marrone had some sort of influence on that. So when that happens, you get a first-round guy, you want to you're going to ride that dude till the wheels fall off. Because if he ends up being a bust, well, that's bad on you. Mm-hmm. So you want to try to squeeze every possibility to say, hey, we were right about this first-round pick.
Absolutely.
And you know what? It obviously hasn't working. So it is what it is from that standpoint. But I just like seeing finally we have a situation with Todd Wash, whoever's calling these defensive plays, where it's like you're putting guys in positions to succeed.
Ego gets in the way sometimes in this business, and whether it's coaching or picking players, the Jags have their inability to say we made the wrong choice in certain situations. Blake Bortles, for instance, Taven Bryan, has really set the organization back in a lot of different ways. All right, let's go Prize Picks right now. PrizePicks.com, the Prize Picks app. We got 2 games tonight. We got Pittsburgh playing on Washington. And
can I watch the Pittsburgh game or not?
More on that a little bit later. Let's go Prize Picks first. And then a little bit later on, San Francisco and the Bills.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to tell you something now.
Oh, okay.
Watch out for Washington today in this game.
Really?
Yeah. They're playing another team playing hard and playing well at times and sometimes not good enough. You see, listen, we saw something happen last night nobody expected. The Giants to go out to Seattle and win with Colt McCoy. Mm-hmm. You know, so some of these teams are playing really good and gutsy football. Heck, Denver on the road, not good at all, no mojo going on. And they almost pull off an upset against Kansas City. So I'm not sleeping on Washington here. And Alex Smith's only 13.4 points, man.
Not bad.
I understand the Steelers' defense, but I'm going over on Alex Smith. That's not much. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's been actually doing a nice job, and they're going to give him chances to throw the football. Now, you got to be careful because that defense will pressure. Mm-hmm. But I like Alex Smith over the 13.4.
You know what? I'm not mad that you kind of stole mine, but I'm going to allow it because we're both on the same page right now. Mind mouth. So here's my guy, okay? And listen, I hate playing this game because it's like playing Russian roulette. Which Steelers receiver do you go with?
I know, it's tough.
Right? It's so hard. It's like
Claypool,
what Patriots running back to go with last year?
Johnson.
So here's the thing. Claypool, I love him, man. All right, they call him the Canadian Megatron, right? That's what his nickname is. Is he from Canada? I don't know. That's what they're calling him. Yeah, he's the Canadian, Megatron. Let's go with that. So with Claypool, though, you need time to get that guy the ball because he runs all the deep routes, right? He's going to be the guy that gets like the 80-yard reception in the end, whatever it's going to be. I don't see that happening here because if you want to talk about the strength of this Washington football team, it's their pass rush. It's their defensive line. I think Big Ben's going to be under duress a lot in this game. And if that's the case, give me the guy out of the slot. Give me the guy who the ball's got to go to at a very fast pace. Give me Juju Smith-Schuster with the over with 14 points.
I like what you're doing.
By the way, it's Mapletron.
Oh, Mapletron?
Yeah, Canadian.
The Canadian Megatron is Mapletron.
Gother.
That makes sense.
That's even better. Yeah, that was horrible by me.
All right, PrizePicks.com, the PrizePicks app. You got to play along with us now. Use the promo code JAX, J-A-X, and you can get a 100% match on up to $100 of your first deposit. And by the way, I think later this week we're going to start the final 4 weeks of the NFL season, doing some standings, having some fun, give away some prizes. But you got to get in this week on PrizePicks.com and the PrizePicks app. You got to use the JAX promo code, J-A-X, if you want in to have a chance to win some prizes later in the month of December and as we turn the calendar on 2021.
Man, real quick, because this is kind of a monumental day. We got 2 games. break them off something for the next game.
Okay, so here's where I'm going, all right? Josh Allen's a little bit too much, I think, against that San Francisco defense, 22.5. I don't trust it because he's been up and down.
And it's at San Fran, right?
It was at Arizona, really.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
So Nick Mullins, I'm never buying into Nick Mullins. I think San Francisco is going to come to play here, but I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs. I trust the receiver. I love the receivers because it really just takes one big play. 17.8 points. I think a touchdown and a couple of catches, and you're golden on Stephon Diggs. So I'm going to take Stephon Diggs on the over for the Buffalo Bills, who I do believe win this game. I just think it won't be easy sledding, and it's certainly not going to. The defense getting healthier for San Francisco. They're getting healthier overall. So I think this will be a pretty hard-nosed football game tonight.
Listen, we're talking about Mostert. He's intriguing, obviously, making his his appearance back, coming back from an injury. I don't like the 13, though. Play that at your own risk. I'm taking Jordan Reed. I think that if the 49ers get down in this game, which they very well could be, the tight end's always been featured in this type of offense. Obviously, when you got who's the tight end that got hurt? Obviously, the big guy.
Kittle.
Kittle, thank you. When George Kittle's out, someone's got to step up. Jordan Reed, when he's healthy, he's produced, not only in receptions, but also yardage. Give me Jordan Reed with the over of 8.2 for my entry.
All right, so there you go. PrizePicks.com, the PrizePicks app. Remember, the Jax promo code, JAX. It's $3. 100% match up to a $100 deposit.
I like $3.
Check it out. And chance to win some prizes later this month, but you got to get in this week so we can keep the standings for the next 4 Sundays on winnable entries for you. So check out PrizePicks.com, PrizePicks app. We're having a blast.
And to be fair, too, it's got an easy follow-along system, so you know exactly how your guys are doing because, well, if you can't watch the Steelers game here in Jacksonville, you can at least follow along with the points a little bit. Can't you, Brent?
Yes, daily fantasy simplified. Just like that. Over, under. You don't need your whole team to win. You just need 2 guys to win. As many as 5, by the way, on PrizePicks.com. Why can you not see the Steelers game in Jacksonville tonight?
You better stand up for this one, too, because I want an explanation.
Here it comes. We'll get into it, people, next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
As the rain ends, we'll break out into some sunshine today, but temperatures will be cool in the low to mid-60s, cold tonight down into the 30s. And despite a lot of sunshine, it'll be a breezy, cold day tomorrow. Your Tuesday high will only be in the 50s. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Just in time for the holidays. Save up to 40% on everything store-wide at Beard's Diamonds.
You bump the temperature down at night, don't you? And you probably keep your daytime temperature set below 74 degrees too. Or at least one of you does. While the other complains that
it's freezing in here.
You know what that means? It means your home is too darn humid. If your AC had proper humidity control, you'd both be comfortable at 74 degrees. So you'd never feel sticky at night or during winter or when it rains. Ever been in the mountains out to California in a low humidity environment? Then you know mid-70s can feel magnificent. But when your home's too humid, it turns everything to turd buckets. Because cold air plus humidity equals condensation, causing your ducts, windows, and hard surfaces to sweat. Enter mold and mildew. Not good. With a Florida-rated system, you'd get proper humidity control, so you'd both be comfortable, you'd both sleep better, and you'd both stop fighting over the thermostat. But only if you call GriffinService.com.
License number 1250697.
Worthless warranties, slimy salespeople, shady subcontractors. It's no wonder people don't trust most roofing companies. At All Pro Roofing and Consulting LLC, we didn't trust them either. That's why we started our own roofing company. With more than 25 years of experience, we offer industry-leading warranties, simple, fair financing, and no subcontractors. Residential, commercial, even multifamily properties. At All Pro Roofing and Consulting, we've got you covered. Learn more at allproroofingllc.com.
It's daily fantasy simplified. It's as simple as over and under. PrizePicks.com or the PrizePicks app is the place that pits you against the numbers. Don't worry about your fantasy lineup or a big injury that might hurt your team. On PrizePicks, you simply select 2, 3, or 4 players and predict if they will go over or under their fantasy projections. It's easy, it's fun, it's one-on-one. You against the numbers. PrizePicks.com or the PrizePicks app. Use the promo code JAX, J-A-X, to get a 100% match on your first deposit. Get started at PrizePicks.com.
Here's an unexpected holiday surprise. A flash sale on all earrings at Diamonds Direct. This weekend, 25% off. This is something we never do, but we made a last-minute decision. All earrings marked down an incredible 25%. Diamond studs, diamond hoops, colored gemstone earrings, all included. It is one truly epic earring event. What woman doesn't love a nice pair of diamond stud earrings for Christmas? Make it happen this weekend and save an unprecedented 25%. Special financing available too. Friday through Sunday only, and only at Diamonds Direct.
Off Townsender Parkway, just left of the Hyatt.
It is the home of the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18, and make it your home course as well. The golf club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. It's family-owned and operated. Southampton is a fun course to play, and the golf club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facilities and player-friendly golf course design, it'll be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. For information on the membership programs, call the golf club at Southampton, 904-287-PLAY. Again, it's 904-287-PLAY.
If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and school just isn't for you, earn while you learn by enrolling in the Clara White Mission Workforce Training, designed for 16 to 24-year-olds and no experience necessary. National certifications include culinary arts, OSHA, HAZWOPER, forklifting, environmental training, and more. These programs are customized for low income and disadvantaged. Make your way to the Clara White Mission Training Center at 613 West Ashley Street. Call 904-354-4162 or visit clarawhitemission.org.
For more than 25 years, the potential for health improvement is seen with each patient that walks through our doors. Healthcare decisions don't have to be confusing. Make Island Doctors your medical practice.
My husband and I have been coming to Island Doctors for approximately 10 years, and we have been very happy with them, and we trust them.
Call us today and schedule a tour of one of our locations near you and take a look at our Best Wellness program. And welcome home.
Call 1-877-434-4676 or visit islanddoctors.com.
Men suffering from ED or PE? Has Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra let you down? Regardless of your age or past medical history, you'll see results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical, or you pay nothing, guaranteed. Call them at 904-206-8105.
Need your carpets and tiles looking great for the special holiday party? Give Zero Res a call. Zero Res technicians are cleaning freaks. Google it and read over 2,500 5-star reviews. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Hey, it's Goose from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Now, I know there's a ton of ways you can listen to the show, but did you know one of the ways is through a smart speaker? Yes, the Google Home, the Amazon Alexa. It's pretty easy to do. Just tell either of them to play ESPN 690. Try it out weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m., and you can listen to Action Sports Jacks.
Brent Martineau.
Well, listen, if we wanted to just bump WWE by like a half hour or a few minutes, we should have just rolled your highlight tape.
Austin Lane.
Oh, and there it is. And now Brent's playing ball. All of a sudden, Chapman throwing some high heat at me. Watch out for that suspension, Brent. Real quick, though.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
First and goal, and they will throw. Roethlisberger to the end zone. Touchdown. Juju Smith-Schuster. Celebration time.
Let's see if he's going to celebrate today at 5 o'clock. We'll tell you about it. You might not be able to see it. So here's the deal. Weber, you let me know when you're going to show everybody. This is what happens. First, let me give you the background, then I'll tell you what the last couple of days have been like dealing with it, because this is always fun in our profession. The Steelers and Washington game got moved to Monday with all the COVID stuff. Correct. You know, obviously Steelers played on last Wednesday, so they're actually playing twice in a short amount of time, but teams do it Sunday, Thursday. The Steelers have been thrown off, by the way, big time by COVID-19 all year.
Yeah.
And their schedule.
It's
And
not
been their fault.
No.
Which is fascinating. But so they move it to 5 o'clock. So I'm just assuming that we have the game. Well, we get an email like on Thursday or Friday from our programming guy, and he's like, yeah, we're not having the game. I'm like, what do you mean we're not having the game? Because we have Jags Report Live at 7, so if we have the game, we can't show Jags Report Live. We're going to move it to Tuesday.
Sure.
And so we're thinking it's going to be on Tuesday. Well, like, we don't have the game. I'm like, what do you mean we don't have a game? Why wouldn't we have the game? And the NFL decided to regionalize the game. And
now why? I mean,
so the understanding that I have is it's based around the Sunday ticket exclusivity. That's the phrase I keep getting. So it's to protect Sunday ticket in some way, shape, or form to not show another game on Monday that normally wouldn't have been shown. And so the point being, so there's 3 different categories where you can see this game. So Orlando, Gainesville, Tampa, showing the game. Some places out in the Midwest showing the game. So regionalization-wise, it makes sense for Pittsburgh area and Washington area to show the game. Right? So everybody in that area that usually would see a Pittsburgh game, usually see a Washington game, they're going to see it. Makes sense. So that's one of the criteria. The second one is your football team, it's impacted by the playoff race at all going on. So like Dallas.
Yes.
They could show it there. The Giants, which kind of probably fits in the regional window anyway, same with Philly. But that's my point. Baltimore, well, that would fit in the same one. But the Jags are 1-11. The Jags don't fit in any playoff race.
Yeah.
Not impacted by either one, Pittsburgh or Washington. The last one is an interesting one. It's if you were already showing the game on Sunday. What I didn't find out is was this a 1 o'clock game originally slated? I'm assuming it was. Which means
probably one that would have been opposite Jacksonville.
And so we wouldn't have shown the game because we're showing the Jaguars and Vikings.
Of course.
And so there's 3 criteria, just to go over again. Regionalized, playoff implications, or already showing the game. So the reason why like Tampa, Orlando, Gainesville have it is because they were probably showing that game and the Jaguars game.
Gotcha.
But see, local rules, usually you don't show another game against the Jags game. Or it was already on CBS, and so we were showing the Jags instead.
Wait, so Tampa's showing theirs because the Bucs already played like a previous?
Well, the Bucs were on a bye. But
they're on a bye.
I'm
Okay,
just saying yesterday,
Okay.
if this game was normally scheduled at 1 o'clock on CBS, or on Fox, yesterday, Tampa and Orlando were going to show it.
Okay.
And on CBS in Orlando and Tampa, they were going to show Jags-Vikings.
Gotcha.
Well, we here in Jacksonville don't do that. We don't show a game opposite the Jags. That's to protect the home turf. That's like
You're
most
welcome,
around
Jags
the NFL.
fans.
Well, so we showed 2 games in the afternoon instead yesterday. We showed a game on Fox and a game on CBS. So that last criteria we don't meet because we weren't showing the Steelers game. So bottom line is we don't meet any of the criteria. And now I've heard it's on DirecTV, and DirecTV is going to show it. I've also heard somebody else say it's going to be on NFL Network on a replay
Channel
later tonight.
713, by the way, DirecTV.
Are you sure? Because I've heard 712, 750. So is it
one of the
713?
700s. Yeah, just go to your DirecTV and see in the 700s where that game would be.
DirecTV.
Okay, so
cut the cable.
Here's
ago, sir. Sorry, unless we're sponsored, then yes, DirecTV all day. Great packages.
Well, listen, I got it from my kid. Well, and there's a couple other things going on right now that have already annoyed viewers. The Tegna station in town, which is the ABC affiliate and NBC here in Jacksonville. Okay. And I'm not really hammering them because this stuff happens in all local TV. We just went through it with our Dish. Well, we did. You remember hearing the Dish commercial?
Yeah.
With Fox? Well, so they're going through the same thing with DirecTV right now. They're negotiating. So people are already, like the Steelers, you couldn't watch the game on DirecTV last week. And so now you can't watch the Steelers again, and they're undefeated.
Hey.
And by the way, half of Pittsburgh lives in Jacksonville.
Oh, I know. maybe take the hit and go back home. How's that sound? I'm just kidding. I love Pittsburgh people.
So anyway, after all that, that's the explanation, okay? I worked hard for you folks now to try to figure out the explanation.
Hang on. Okay, now hang on. You said you worked hard for those people, but did you fight for the people?
No.
Did you? See? And there's the problem. And therein lies the problem.
Listen, you can't fight the NFL, man. You can't fight that machine.
But at least give the notion that you did.
Back at quarterback. I only had so much time.
I'm just saying, a simple email like that you would have took a picture of and screenshot that and put it out to your Twitter. I mean, try to save face right now. Because I guarantee the Steelers fans, including myself, because I had Benny Snell going to fantasy tonight, I would like to watch him run the football. Right now, you're letting us down, Brent, because you're not fighting for us. You're not fighting for the Steelers fans out there, and it's noticeable. And I'll be honest, I was disappointed when you played a 1990 whatever game for preseason over SmackDown. By the way, how are those ratings? Did that pan out?
Not as good as I thought it would be,
By the
actually.
way, if Brent sent an email to the people at the national level, the NFL, the big office, they would be having a radio show and making fun of us right now like we're about to do to the people that sent us emails.
Well, you know what? If we meet them in the streets, we'll see what happens, right, Brent?
Okay, so here's the deal, right? We start getting emails from Pittsburgh fans yesterday. I tell you, Pittsburgh fans pretty smart.
It's a passionate fan base,
Pittsburgh fan knows they got to go find their stuff and like, holy crap, they're not playing our game in Jacksonville. What are we going to do? And so, I mean, here they are. We are showing on the video feeds right now.
Let me bring this up.
Here's what we get. Steelers going to be on local TV tomorrow against Washington? ? That was a nice one.
That was rough.
Is the Steelers game going to be televised today? I think Stewart built this and he kind of clipped some things out.
Yep.
Hopefully blocked all the swear words out. Why are Gainesville, Orlando, and Tampa getting this game on television, but Jacksonville is not? Are their customers more important than your Jacksonville customers are?
I'm asking the same thing right now.
Hey,
I'm asking the same thing right now. I don't feel very respected.
I'm sorry. I think it stinks that you will not be broadcasting this game. The only undefeated team left, and you're ignoring it. Shame on you.
I love the shame on you.
Dear Sports Department, why are you not showing the Steelers versus Washington game tomorrow at 5? The Steelers are 11-0. Don't you think this game deserves to be on television?
Brent, let me ask you.
Please reconsider.
Brent, let me ask you this. Do you think the game deserves to be on television? Do you think it does?
I do.
Okay, as long as you think it does.
And this one is the best one. At least for now.
Yeah.
Because we have a couple of fresh ones in.
Here we go.
You need to show this game tonight for the Jacksonville area. If you don't, you will lose a lot of viewers.
Mm-hmm.
I, for one, will never watch Fox 30 ever again, even if the Steelers are on in the future.
Wow.
So this is the classic one, okay? This is what we get in TV world. We get this a lot. I'm sure I have several voice messages down there. I just haven't checked. So this is the guy or a gal. I think this was a guy. And this is a guy that basically says,
ultimatum.
You guys suck for not showing the Steelers, and because of that, I'm going to punish myself in the future and never watch them on your station again.
Do you see what kind of power you have over people right now? And you're just laughing? That poor guy, Brent.
This guy.
Even in the future, he said.
So I had something. So here's when I get so many of these.
You didn't respond.
Well, I sent this to our programming guy. I'm like, I can't respond to this one. I'm not going to say the right things. But so yesterday, Weber's like, I said, Weber, I'm hitting the Gainesville, Orlando, Tampa one. I'm just going to write back and be like, it's not that far a ride to Gainesville. And there's plenty of sports bars.
Yeah.
And so I start typing it up, and I started reading it out loud.
You got a reputation,
and Weber
man.
was kind of like, I wouldn't send that.
That's not your game, bro.
Yeah, and I couldn't do it.
It's not your game.
He stopped me.
Nice job, Stuart.
He stopped me from doing it. So I think
it's the thing Brent always says. If you're having any second thoughts about it, don't
send it.
Yeah, if you hesitate. Don't steal second if you hesitate, and don't send emails if you hesitate. Don't go through yellow lights if you hesitate either. This one just in about 20 minutes ago. I'm furious that your channel is not broadcasting the football game today at 5 p.m.
I am too.
That's it. That was it. I'm
Let
furious that your channel is not broadcasting the football game today. Well, we're here for you, man.
Congratulations.
We
you just made the show.
are here for you.
Let them know. What was? I guess we can't say that person's name, obviously. But
these are mostly from people with Bell South and AOL email addresses, by the way.
Who's doing AOL anymore?
It happens.
Well, then forget about them. Don't even entertain them. The AOL people. Come on now. It's 2020.
But I seriously just sent our bosses in the news department.
Yeah.
I said, be ready at 5:02. The phones are about to go crazy.
Just off the line.
They're going off the hook at 5.
Yeah.
Like, we should bring the radio show down to the newsroom at 5 o'clock.
Just answer phone calls?
To 5:15 and
Let's
just
do it.
answer them.
Let's get it.
Forward them up to the station.
Let's go. We'll talk about it. Wow, man.
But it's, and meanwhile, let me tell you where you can find it if you're heading home. 4:39 here on a Monday, and you got a 5 o'clock football game.
I have some websites, too, you could use.
And by the way, big thank you to Kim Berger, who reached out to me on Facebook. And she said to me this. I run the Steeler Club at the Moose Lodge.
Cool.
On 3834 Southside Boulevard. All are welcome. They do have the package there. If you could spread the news, that would be great. You don't even have to be a member.
Isn't that...
no swearing at Brent.
Yeah.
No, why in the world is this
Moose
not
Club.
on? Just a simple, hey, let's let's solve this in an appropriate way.
I like that.
Let's come up with a solution.
Well, and it sounds like a pretty exclusive thing to be a part of,
And
too.
by the way,
I've never
let's,
been to the Moose Club.
let's head to the freaking Moose Lodge.
You ever been there, Moose Lodge?
No.
Nah. It's intriguing, though. You drive past it, it's like, what's going on in there? Like that and like the coffee factory downtown, the Folgers factory. I've never met one person who works in the Folgers factory. So I don't really know if it's actually a front for something else. But like, those are two places.
Wonka-esque.
So yeah, so
it's Wonka-esque.
So those are two places: the coffee thing, and then the Moose Lodge, where it's like, what's going on in there?
Never see anyone going in or out of the coffee place.
Name one guy who works in that place.
That's a really good call. That's a great call. It's robotic.
It's a front.
Now it does smell like coffee.
Call in, by the
I
way.
can get
Call in,
incense
by the way, if you do work there.
in 20 minutes if you want them. I can get coffee incense in here. I can have this whole studio smelling like coffee in 20 minutes.
I usually
It
do
ain't
smell like
nothing.
coffee.
It ain't nothing.
You know, one thing I still don't understand about, and this is one of the issues. See, this is why I want Lot J built up, people. I want a Starbucks or something downtown near the stadium when I'm working Jags, because you can't go get coffee anywhere hardly.
Support local and get Folgers in the grocery store. Is it Folgers? I want to say the wrong thing, by the way.
I'm out at training
Is it
camp
Folgers?
practice. Yeah,
Or is
no, it's
it
Maxwell House.
My bad. Hey, Folgers is trash. Maxwell, I mean,
It is Maxwell House.
Take it from me. Maxwell House is where it's at.
I
Folgers
figured
You
has
have good
been
local
trash.
coffee
I was
places, too,
figuring-
like Bold Bean and other
Yeah,
ones
but
as
if it's
well.
made in Jacksonville, it's still local. Maxwell House.
But I can't walk to those places that are right
Budweiser
down the
local?
road.
Say what?
Is Budweiser local?
Could be. Depends how you shake it.
Be honest with you, my whole intent on helping Lot J get built is based on a coffee shop nearby the stadium.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you should be able to have a coffee shop. That should be your. If you can't get a coffee near the stadium, Daly's Place, or the rest, then you're not a downtown.
Brent, but because you're not using your head here. You have Maxwell House. They're a heavy hitter in the coffee game. So you think you're just going to open up a little mom and pop shop next to them and be like, oh, that's cool? Or they're going to come over there with baseball bats and be like, you better shut this down before something bad happens. You ever see Sopranos?
Yes.
Okay, then. So you know what I'm talking about.
I just have my one other thing about like Maxwell House, which I don't think it's a front.
Can we get sponsored by them so we can find out?
I don't know. If you stop saying Folgers, we might have a better
Sorry,
chance.
I said Folgers is trash.
But if I just don't like, why don't they have a side window where they sell retail coffee?
Good point.
Open till 7 for Brent Martineau because he'll drink it that late.
Seriously, why don't
Can you do
they? Like,
tours there and
couldn't you do that? I don't know. They should sell
got
out a
it.
little side window. Can I
That's a
own
good
that?
point. That's a
Can
good
I?
point.
Can I buy into that?
I mean, there's money to be made there for sure. We should do a little research here. Do a little recon.
All right, so
Maxwell
anyway,
House.
sorry, Pittsburgh Steelers fans. We'll keep you updated, maybe even the play-by-play. Go to the Moose Lodge. I think Mr. Chubby's Wings has it on their TVs.
Cool. I mean, you can't beat that.
And
Get some good
Direct
wings.
TV, if you have it, I think there's a way to see it.
In the 700s.
12, 11, 13, 15, 1. Flip around. You'll find it. Ty will probably let me know in a little bit once he finds it.
Yeah.
Because he's out of his mind, too, about not being able to
Hey,
watch games on
tell him
ABC, NBC, or now
Tell him to
the
send me a
Steelers.
text message, and I have a website for him. Don't worry about it. Now,
Yeah.
it could crash at any second and put some viruses on your computer, but I got a website for him.
I don't trust my kids with that stuff.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
wouldn't either.
We'll be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Sorry, Steelers fans.
Sorry, Maxwell House.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
James Harden, if he wanted to get to Brooklyn, could get to Brooklyn. Him, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant. If that happens, they would be the favorite to come out of the East. That could be your NBA Finals next year. The Lakers, LeBron, AD, Dennis Schroeder versus the Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden.
Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio or streaming live on the ESPN app.
Why call a professional if you're only going to get a half solution? That's my philosophy. You called me to truly fix your problems like, boom, fixed and fixed right. So when Griffin Service offered full service drain clearing, I insisted we take that approach. And for drains, it's not really about busting the clog. Sure, we'll do that better than anyone. But honestly, most Jake with a snake chuck in a truck plumbers can bust a clog. Professional quality drain clearing is really about taking an out-of-control situation and putting you, the client, back in control. I'm talking about transparency, with upfront pricing and camera work included in the price, so you know that the problem was fixed and fixed right. Because on the off chance you've got a bigger problem than clog busting can solve, you'll want to know you're dealing with a plumber you can trust, who has all the equipment to fix problems properly and guarantee the work. So call the plumbers to do it right at
GriffinService.com.
License number 1250697. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At Lloyd's Construction and Consulting, we've been celebrating 10 years in business. Over the years, we've constructed thousands of projects in the Northeast Florida region. For commercial to residential, we handle each project with the respect and care it deserves. We look forward to speaking with you about your next construction project. Find out more at lloydsconstruction.net.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
You can't miss the unplanned, unexpected, unbelievable sale Diamonds Direct is having this weekend. All earrings are 25% off Friday through Sunday. Yes, it's a surprise flash sale on all earrings. Diamond studs, diamond hoops, colored gemstone earrings, gold earrings. Best prices ever. Take an extra 25% off Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable price. It's the perfect ready-to-wrap gift for the women in your life. All diamond studs are included. Special financing available too. A truly epic earring event this Friday through Sunday only, and only at Diamonds Direct.
Off Town Center Parkway, just left of the Hyatt.
The ultimate Christmas tradition is heading home for the holidays. Don't miss Moscow Ballet's digital stream premiere of The Great Russian Nutcracker, Saturday, December 19th. Enjoy the full-length performance of Moscow Ballet's Great Russian Nutcracker as captured on stage. Save 15% on tickets today with promo code HEART. That's HEART at moscowballet.com. Get up close with online meet and greets and party packages at moscowballet.com.
Men suffering from ED or PE? Has Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra let you down? Regardless of your age or past medical history, you'll see results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical, or you pay nothing, guaranteed. Call them at 904-206-8105.
One of the easiest ways to offer local kids a great Christmas is through Jewish Family and Community Services. Help us make this holiday season shine. Jewish Family and Community Services. Here for giving, here for Jax.
For the ones standing guard, for the eagle-eyed, for the knights in shining armor, and for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Leave your sister alone. You're ready to get back into yoga, so you order the essentials. A non-slip mat, yoga blocks to keep balance, and an exercise ball. And you use your Bank of America Cash Rewards credit card, choosing to earn 3% cash back on online shopping and up to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member, which you put towards your most essential yoga gear. Noise-canceling headphones.
Welcome. Take a deep breath. Breathe.
Apply for yours at bankofamerica.com/more rewarding. Copyright 2020 Bank of America Corporation.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home or just steering clear of coworkers, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jax on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
I thought by far this was, the best he's played, since he's been here, which is really encouraging because it's not from a lack of him not willing to put in the work or willing to know what to do. It's just getting out there and just keep going.
That is Doug Marrone on Kayla Chason. We were talking about him earlier. No doubt the best game. Doug Marrone even said it's the best game he's played. Mm-hmm. And he said he was doing a nice job against the run, but now really stepped it up in terms of pressures. And Pro Football Focus, if you missed us earlier, said, I think 5 pressures yesterday for Kayla Chason, which, by the way, would far exceed what he has done. So, hey, that's good. That's good. Colin Johnson, Kayla Chason. We saw a lot about Devon Hamilton. We saw some from Daniel Thomas, not enough because he got hurt, but we saw some. Hey, you know who else? Well, I put him in the show tonight on Jags Report Live on Fox 30 at 7 o'clock, but Ben Bartch played some yesterday.
Yeah.
Didn't really hear his name.
Yeah. You know, the more I watch Ben Bartch, like, obviously he had shown some brilliance, but I still get the vibe, especially in pass setting, that he's not the most comfortable, nor should he be, because he's playing a new position, right? We talk about Chason playing out of position with his hand in the dirt. Well, I feel like I want to see Ben Bartch at left tackle. I get it that spot is pretty much shored up right now, but I still want to see him at tackle as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I just those are good wins for the Jags, though. Those Laviska Shenault now back in it a little bit. He ran a couple times. He's catching them. He got lucky on the one, but you know, those are good things. Like it's. Again, that's all there is to watch. I mean, that's all there is to like. That's all there is to get hope for next year, on top of a great situation that somebody's going to walk into, and then the hope that Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence or whoever you pick is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Couple of things about the NFL real quick. How about the Giants, man? I mean,
that's your sleeper team. I was making fun of them. Daniel Jones became a meme, and now look what they're doing.
I mean, they won 4 in a row. Joe Judge, I mean, shoot. You lose Saquon Barkley. You have the mess that's going on in New York, what it looked like. Mm-hmm. And I understand they got a little bit second wind and second life because they're still in the NFC East. Bottom line is they've won 4 games in a row. And to go out to Seattle and win a game with Colt McCoy as your quarterback, wow. I mean,
impressive.
I was just really impressed. Now, we'll keep an eye on the Giants. I'm just, right now, if they end up winning the East, and they have the lead. If they had won the East, now I'm a team in the postseason. I'm like, I don't want to play these guys.
Yeah.
Because they feel good about themselves. That's the thing. So, interesting there. New England Patriots are coming to life a little bit. Again, I think they got a lot of help by the Chargers, but still.
They play some great football in December. What can we say?
You know, and their defense is getting after it again, and their defense against young quarterbacks, Kyler Murray to Herbert, who guys that had played well. It seemed like they threw Kyler Murray, by the way, into a little bit of a swoon. And we'll see what happens with Herbert going forward. But I mean, they really just are awful on offense. I mean, they have no passing game.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
And they won 45-0. So, but I mean, the Patriots are the Patriots. Belichick's doing a good job. Bottom line is Belichick's doing a good job.
Belichick's doing a great job once again, and all of a sudden my bet could not be looking any juicier in terms of who's going to have more wins, the Patriots or the Jaguars. Go ahead and concede this one. Go ahead and concede this one, please.
Let's stop the count.
Hey,
all right. I have conceded that one.
You're going to concede?
Yes.
No recounts? You're conceding.
I'm conceding.
Brent Martin has conceded.
And by the way, that segues into another bet of ours, which I'm still winning handily, but you got back in the race.
He doesn't have to concede because it mathematically can't happen.
I know.
Yeah, but I still want to hear him concede.
We don't have to tell him that.
Stuart,
we don't have to tell him that.
Come on now. But no, say it. I dare to say this
Ben
one.
Roethlisberger is winning this battle.
How? With what?
Ben Roethlisberger is having a way better season than Baker Mayfield.
With what? Are you talking about with wins or stats?
Both.
Okay, wins.
And
obviously,
eye test.
not Brent. Are we going to the stats or not?
Who are you taking you have one game to win
important.
this year's play? Baker Mayfield or Ben Roethlisberger? Who are you taking? Just this year.
Baker Mayfield on the Steelers?
Yes.
Intriguing. Very intriguing.
Are they 11-0?
Could be. Look at the stats.
No.
Look at the stats.
I'm doing a poll.
No, that's not how any of this works.
This
Brent
is going to be
Martineau.
settled. If you can't settle it, then this is going to be settled.
Brent,
It's his go-to, by the way. This is the go-to.
Like, listen,
I'm making a poll.
I'm about to lose my mind right here. You don't base the MVP award based off of, well, who's undefeated this year. I haven't heard one time anybody say, you know what, Ben Roethlisberger, MVP this year. You know why? He's undefeated. Okay? No. It's a stat-driven award. Just like to say, who's having the better year? You go off stats. So let's bring off Baker Mayfield's stats. Let's bring up Ben Roethlisberger's stats, and we'll go from there.
I haven't even looked.
Neither have I, but I'm feeling pretty confident after last game.
Mayfield, all of us. I mean, that was an unbelievable game.
Yeah.
I mean, if that game,
he's capable.
That game was like Mark Spencer. My gosh, he couldn't wait to text me after that one. After all the heat that Mayfield took last week.
So, and hey, all of a sudden those commercials, they're pretty funny now.
They're funny.
Oh, the one where he's the turkey in the deep fryer.
I would say that was an impressive win by Cleveland.
Yeah.
That's the storyline. I mean, to go into Tennessee and do that to Tennessee, that was impressive. What's our stats?
Ready for the stats here? All right. Season stats. Baker Mayfield, 12 games. We're going. I mean, there's a lot of stats to break down here.
Just give me touchdowns and picks.
21-7. And rushing touchdowns, who cares? All right, so he's 21-7. Got that?
Okay.
me make sure. Yeah, okay. 21-7. Ben Roethlisberger.
You got 20 seconds.
I'll find it. He's got a long career I got to go over here. All right, real quick.
2020.
Hang on. Hey. Thanks, man. Dude, okay. 25-6.
My stats are
Extra
even
game.
better.
Hang on. How many games is Baker?
The record's
How many
better.
games is Baker?
Big Ben
How many
over
games is
Baker
Baker?
Mayfield.
How many games is that? 12?
Trask or Jones? We'll have the same conversation next on ESPN 690. You keep
We
looking it up.
can't go to commercial.
Happy holidays from the team at CGC Water. This holiday season, our gift to you is clean drinking water. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Right now, CGC Water is offering a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier softener like the one we have at our home. If you're still not filtering your water, you are the filter. Schedule your free water test today and get peace of mind knowing your family's water is safe water. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Remember now, this is a limited time offer. A free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier softener. Special holiday financing available for a limited time with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia, CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer. Have a happy and safe holiday season. We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Transmission problems? Call Action Transmission Specialists on Merrill Road, where you get the work done right the first time by the experts. I'm Robin Sidbury, the owner. Our techs can service all makes and models, and we provide a nationwide warranty, so you have the peace of mind knowing we solve your transmission troubles fairly and honestly and guaranteed nationwide. Call us at Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road, where quality counts. Get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
For more than 25 years, the potential for health improvement is seen with each patient that walks through our doors. Healthcare decisions don't have to be confusing. Make Island Doctors your medical practice.
My husband and I have been coming to Allen Doctors for approximately 10 years, and we have been very happy with them, and we trust them.
Call us today and schedule a tour of one of our locations near you and take a look at our best wellness program. And welcome home.
Call 1-877-434-4676 or visit islanddoctors.com.
The pizza you'll soon be eating contains more than 55 years of tradition. Donato's Pizza started in Columbus, Ohio in 1963 with a commitment to serve delicious, fresh-made premium pizza. Donato's in Jax Beach is still proud to deliver their made-to-order, edge-to-edge goodness right to your door or at their convenient pickup window. Check out their unusually wide variety of options at 904donatos.com. It's no joke when they say they have something for everyone. That's 904donatos.com. Give it a try and see what you think.
If you're driving less, you could be saving 50%. With pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate, you can have control over your auto insurance costs by only paying for the miles you drive. Drive less, save 50% with Allstate. You've never been in better hands. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Pricing varies based on how you buy driving behaviors and includes a daily rate, not applicable in California. Based on annual premium paid by Allstate Standard Auto customers versus Allstate pay-per-mile customers who drive an average of 4,000 miles a year. Savings vary subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates. Copyright 2020 Allstate Insurance Company.
The radio in your dash is more than radio. That SiriusXM button is instant access to a world of exclusive entertainment, including ad-free music channels for every genre and decade. You can also hear your favorite sports, comedy, talk, and news. Plus, you can stream with the SiriusXM app on your phone and connected home devices. And there's never been a better time to listen. Subscribe now and get your first 12 months for $5 a month with a new Select subscription. Fees and taxes apply. Go to SiriusXM.com to learn more.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening. The absence of disgruntled superstar James Harden from Rockets training camp referred to as a holdout today by Coach Stephen Silas. Silas says there's no timetable for Harden to report to camp. Jets coach Adam Gase telling reporters he's the one who made the decision to fire defensive coordinator Greg Williams. Williams dismissed one day after his play call, an ill-fated all-out blitz resulting in New York's 31-28 loss to the Raiders. Eagles coach Doug Peterson says he's not yet made a decision on whether Carson Wentz or Jalen Hurts starts Sunday against the Saints. Considering Hurts outperformed an ineffective Wentz yesterday, Hurts does deserve to start this week, believes ESPN's Ryan Clark.
He looked like the more poised, experienced, confident quarterback yesterday. And so, Doug Peterson, you start him. And if it doesn't work out, then fine. At least you made a change. At least you showed your team that play matters. And if it works out, then you have a decision to make in the future.
Our Ryan Clark, former American League MVP Dick Allen, one of MLB's most feared hitters in the 1960s and 70s, has died at the age of 78. A cause of death has not yet been announced.
With thousands of locally owned Napa stores across the nation, chances are that wherever you call home, they do too. So whether you stop by a local Napa Auto Parts store, Napa Auto Care Center, or visit Napa online, you can count on Napa know-how.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Olave in motion. They fake him on the jet sweep. Fields gets out of the pocket. He'll do it himself. Touchdown.
How about being special in the pocket, Justin Fields? Go create, go make something happen. Touchdown, Buckeyes.
Yeah. Do you love Justin Fields as much as I love Justin Fields?
Can we just say one thing quick before we get into Justin Fields about Baker Mayfield and Ben Roethlisberger?
Sure.
So according to ESPN, which is your go-to worldwide leader of sports.
Stupid QBR crap.
So the QBR is very interesting, okay? And you know me, I'm a big analytics guy. Brent, always have been. Always sworn by analytics. Never once talked bad about analytics.
No, you're an analytics guy.
I'm a junkie. Ben Roethlisberger, QBR, 65.4. Not bad. You know, that's one of the mill. Doesn't say where he ranks, but it's not bad. Actually, you know what? That's good for 17th NFL. Baker Mayfield. This is interesting now. This is very fascinating. 70.5.
Compared to what, 64 or 65?
It doesn't matter. 65.4 compared to 70.5. So I'm going to need you to concede. Feel free to concede right now or concede tomorrow. Whenever you want to concede, just go ahead and concede.
Well, you're like a Gator fan that wants
QBR,
the Heisman
baby.
Trophy done with a couple weeks to go. We'll
It's
talk
the
about
QBR.
that in a moment.
The QBR.
Justin Fields. All right, this week for you?
He's all right. He could have had a couple more touchdown passes. I mean, I get it. You ran, but...
How about the Heisman Trophy moment, baby? He went down 50 yards and blocked.
The Heisman Trophy moment. I'll talk about Kyle Trask punting a ball for the
Now you
Heisman
do
Trophy
sound like
minute.
a Gator.
I know, right? No, listen. I watched a lot of Justin Fields on Saturday, and it was a nice bounce-back game. I'm not going to lie, okay? He showed me a lot of good things, and I think, listen, I mean, we're so... infatuated with the dual threat quarterback, with the Kyler Murrays, with the Russell Wilsons, and I think Justin Fields could be that guy. I do think he could.
Listen, though, I will say this. Like, Fields had a couple runs. I still don't view Fields as a runner before passer. Like, I do kind of view Kyler Murray just as dangerous and Lamar Jackson just as, I wouldn't say even more than just as dangerous, though. Like, it's an important part of their game, much like Cam Newton made his career as part of that. Like, and Cam Newton showing that. He can't sit back there and just throw. Like, he has to have the running element.
Correct.
And, like, I still feel like Fields is more of maybe the Russell Wilson, Josh Allen more ilk, where they're going to use their legs and it's going to be effective. but it's not a necessity. Like, you can still have a good game if you run for 25 yards. Like, what we're seeing out of Kyler Murray is, like, he's not having a good game unless he runs for 75, 80 yards.
Well, listen, and we're going to break down Kyler Murray a lot tomorrow, but I think with that shoulder injury that he's got, like,
that could be
but they're not running him as much anymore.
True.
Like, I think Kingsbury's trying to protect him a little bit.
But Lamar Jackson said, hey, I'm going to stay in the pocket this year. Well, that's not a good idea, Lamar.
Would you compare him to Sean Watson?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's another good one. Like, the running is part of it.
Oh, it's always there.
And it's a big part of it. But I think you have to have it. Like, I think today's day and age, especially if you break down the first half of this NFL season, you're looking at guys throwing for 280, 320, but also running for 55, 60 yards.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's 45 yards, but those 45 yards are important. You even look when Blake Bortles was doing well here in Jacksonville, it was because he was getting 35, 45, 55 yards on the ground. You look when Josh Allen's playing his best football. He's stealing some yards, first downs plays with his legs. So I guess the point is, I don't look at Fields as a running, like he has to run. But I do think it's part of his game and a weapon that makes him dynamic.
Yeah.
And by the way, I look at Trevor Lawrence that way. Now, I would probably look at Trevor Lawrence as more of a pocket passer, run out of necessity, when need be, and then able to do it. I don't think Justin Fields is that. I think he's going to use his legs sometimes, especially at the collegiate level. But I just don't have a problem with him throwing the football. Like, listen, there were questions about Lamar Jackson throwing the football. There's questions about Kyler Murray because of his height staying in the pocket. There are not those kind of questions about Justin Fields. He checks a lot of boxes just throwing the football. It was a good bounce-back game for him. And if you look at the other guys, and we're going to get to Kyle Trask and Mac Jones in a moment, but if you look at Trevor Lawrence, if you look at Zach Wilson, those guys did not have great games. Like, listen, they still, if you go watch Zach Wilson play, and you just don't look at numbers, I think he gets you pretty fired up. Yeah. Like, I really do. Like, he makes, I saw a throw that if Patrick Mahomes, if you put a red Kansas City uniform on him.
He's a gunslinger.
Patrick Mahomes, like, he was going to his right, and he threw it 25 yards down the field, and I couldn't tell if he was looking or not. Yeah. But it was just, vroom. And, wow. And then even the last play of that Coastal Carolina game, you see him step into that throw and just gun it in there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a fun guy, but I was almost like, dang, man, I was expecting a little more out of you. This was a big moment, and he didn't deliver from a numbers kind of sexy standpoint. He still can make a lot of plays. I think Zach Wilson's going to be a good player in the NFL.
Did you see the play where he got double teamed on the block with the interception or whatever? And the two guys went after. What do you think about that?
No, well,
I'm telling you a funny story.
You tell me about that play a little bit more. But I heard from the seat, we were in the middle. We weren't like locked into that BYU game until a little bit later on. I saw like the fourth quarter of it more so. But we were doing SEC tonight. We had the Gators game, and then it was handed off to the Alabama game. But when we did that, we saw the SEC national guys show that, the CBS national guys show that play right after it happened. And they suggested that something had happened pregame.
Oh, okay.
To kind of spark that. Now, other defenders will say, hey, you get coached to do that, right? So straighten it out because that looked a little aggressive to me.
No, listen, it was definitely aggressive, right? It was intentional, bad intentions all around for the Mullets, let's just say. But and I find it so funny. Everyone's complaining, what a dirty hit, what a cheap shot on Zach Wilson. That was a football play. If that happens to a receiver or a running back, no one bats an eyelash.
Yeah, that's true.
But because it happened to, the Mormon monster that is Zach Wilson, everyone's got a problem with it because he's the quarterback. Listen, I'm all for double standards. Double standards don't apply here. I'll never forget my very first start in Dallas, Texas. Well, it was in Fort Worth, Texas, but we were playing the Dallas Cowboys. And John Kitna, I believe, was the quarterback because Tony Romo would have been hurt. And we were always coached my rookie year. If there's ever an interception, you go after two guys. Number one, you go after the guy who the ball was intended for. Because obviously he understands that, well, it's an interception, I have to go make a play, right? Because he sees the ball coming in, and then he reacts off that. So he has the most incentive to get the guy down. So you go after the intended receiver. If you're not by the intended receiver, you go after the quarterback by any means necessary. Now, I'm not trying to put out some kind of bounty gate, something like that, but I'm just saying, it was preached to us that there's ever an interception, you go after the quarterback and try to inflict, a little right there, Fred, if you will, as much as possible. So John Kitna, that was an interception, okay? I immediately hunt down John Kitna, standing right by the Cowboys sideline. And I'm like, man, if I go after him right here, there's going to be repercussions because he's standing by the side. Like, he's not even in the play.
So you're thinking of this.
Well, yeah, he literally, threw the ball and, got mad and walked off the field. I'm like, screw it, I'm going in. Because the last thing I want to see is, me watching film with Joe Cohen. Why didn't you go after him? Okay, Joe, I got you, man. So he throws an interception. I come like a bat out of hell, 40 yards across the field. And he's, literally walking off the field. He's done. The play is still going on.
Don't hit him,
but
Austin.
The kid is like, oh, dude, lowered my shoulder and absolutely depleted him. And the best part was the ref saw it. No penalty. Because back then, 2010, that was a football play. Now,
what did their bench do?
Oh, no, okay, the bench was a different story, okay? The bench was not so hunky-dory with that decision that I made. The bench got into it a little bit, There was some verbiage being thrown around about me and maybe my family. But at the end of the day, though, I did my job. I remember watching film the next day. It was a good film session because we won that game. Yes. But they're like, hey, Austin Lane, good job. Way to take the coaching. You got it, Coach.
Why is that? Why? Here's what's interesting, all right? In baseball, you're kind of taught to take out the middle infielder on a double play ball, but cleanly. I mean, you see guys do it dirty, but you're not taught to do that dirty. I mean, you do that dirty, that's dirty. They've saved the catcher now from collisions in baseball. So, that's a tough guy. In football, when I see this, I understand they'll go after. If they get a shot at Brady, the Mannings, the Rodgers, they will. Or maybe those guys are just so smart to stay away from it now.
Yeah.
But it seems like they have a respect for those guys that they won't try to go decleat them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong at that. Maybe they do.
No, see, it's different now, though. Because, even if you were to do that, it'd probably be a penalty. I don't know what the call would be. But I think there's a sense around circles now where, for instance, if Aaron Rodgers throws an interception, you go after Aaron Rodgers, lower your shoulder, try to decleat him, that's going to be a penalty. I'm not sure what the prognosis is going to be, but that's going to be a penalty.
So you were okay with what they did to Zach Wilson?
Absolutely. That's the game of football. No, I
just feel like it's not, though. It feels like it's on the schoolyard of that. He has nothing to do with the play. That's nothing to do with football.
No, it does. It's psychological warfare. Right? Think about Zach Wilson right now. You traveled all the way across the country to play in probably the biggest game of the season for BYU, right? The game is close. It's a nail-biter right now, and guess what you just did? You threw an interception, okay? The whole world's watching you. You're supposed to be this coveted draft pick. Dude, why not add salt into that wound?
Yeah.
Why not get into his face? Why not holler at him and say, yeah, baby.
Okay, but they did more than that. I know. What if he gets hurt on that play?
They roughed him up.
What if he gets hurt on that play?
Is it dirty? No, then you're a casualty of the game. Because if it's a running back, if it's a wide receiver, a tight end, whoever else, we don't talk about it. But since it's a quarterback, we're supposed to pamper these guys. We're supposed to baby these guys. He's got a helmet on just like everybody else. And guess what, Brent? It ain't like practice, man. He's not wearing a red jersey.
Yeah. Interesting. By the way, Zach Wilson, I like him a lot. I think he's a fun player. I expected more out of him Saturday. Coastal Carolina, man, give him credit. That was a heck of a football game. Really fun, and congrats to both schools for getting that thing together and making it happen. But that was great. I mean, that was shades of, well, I said it on Twitter, Rams and Titans. I mean, it came right at the 1 yard line. Really good stuff.
Was that Mason or Kevin Dyson? Or Derek Mason?
Dyson, I believe, was the one that was short.
I remember
both
that
on
game.
the same teams,
Correct.
Right at the time. But I think it was Dyson.
Okay.
And by the way, maybe Coastal Carolina BYU just showed us why there should be a little bigger playoff. Now, they wouldn't have made like a 6 or 8 team playoff.
Yeah.
But someday if we ever get to a bigger playoff, those are fun teams to watch play.
Yeah.
I don't mind seeing that. And
can I just say one thing about the Coastal Carolina fans? Because I saw you tagged me in that whole thing with the shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that was my idea. I'm sure that's been thrown on the airwaves.
Well, I think
Mormons
it probably
versus
was.
mullets.
But they spelled it
Mormons right, though, huh?
Guys,
hey. Myrtle Beach. Look, you already kind of have a negative stereotype. Why not add to it and misspell Mormons? Come on, guys.
Here's the funny thing about that. It's is that you ever collect baseball cards?
Sure.
And there would be an error?
Yeah.
And so the card would be worth more?
Yeah.
So if you got the shirt that spelled Mormons wrong, is it someday worth more? I think there are plenty printed.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this. I got into this on Saturday night.
Okay.
Here you go, Gator fans. Stuart, I want you to weigh in on this real quick. And you don't have to be PC. You can get it. Hey, tell us how you feel,
on Twitter
man.
a lot more. What'd you do on Twitter on Saturday night?
A lot. Tweeting out his feelings.
Yeah, listen. I preface this. I'm not a Gator, okay?
You are not.
there are a lot of Gator fans out there on my timeline and everywhere else, and you having a great season. Congratulations.
Northeast Florida.
We are right here in the middle of it. And
know your audience.
I like when they're good because it's fun to cover, and there's
like
something to talk about it. But I don't care if they're good. I just like when they're good. But I just want to make this perfectly clear. There's Mac Jones, who's a local guy. Yeah. But I love Kyle Trask's story, and I've said it countless times. Like, he, to me, like, if you have kids, which I do, have high school kids, what a great story to tell your kids.
Bought his time.
Right? I mean, in a world where everybody's getting looked at and committing and all this stuff so early, like, you can hardly hit your teenage years before you got a letter from a coach. He is an unbelievable story of so many ways. And by the way, Mac Jones is very similar in terms of a great story to be in this position.
If not for the Trask story, you would be saying a similar thing about Mac Jones and his ascension at Alabama.
I think it's the story of college football this year, these two guys, and where they've come from and who they are. And now they're the front runners over Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence and even Zach Wilson to win the Heisman Trophy. And they are that. It's between these two guys. You can throw Trevor Lawrence in the mix. The only way Trevor Lawrence is winning this is, one, if he gets going a little bit more, because he wasn't great the other. Well, it wasn't statistically like, wow, and the only way he gets back in it is if they give him the career award. But I don't think they're going to do that because there's so much momentum now for Jones and Trask, and they're playing in a big game. So bottom line is I love the story. Weber, where do you see this right now? I mean, the narrative here is Trask has won it. He's got like 14 more touchdowns than Mac Jones or whatever the number is. And it's like his statistics way outweigh Mac Jones at the point, and he's won the Heisman Trophy. It's over. That's what Gator fan wants to say. What do you think?
I think so much of it is rooted in how you approach the Heisman Trophy. What is the Heisman Trophy in your mind? Is it the most valuable player to their team? Is it the guy who racked up the most stats? Well, frankly, the last few years, it has felt a lot like the guy who racked up the most stats, especially if you look at last year. I mean, last year it coincided where you had both happening at the same time. Joe Burrow obviously had a statistically amazing season, and he also led his team to a national championship. This year, you could see a little diverging of paths there when you're talking about it, and a lot of that comes down to the SEC championship in Atlanta in 2 weeks. And, which of these two guys is going to be the one who leads his team on to the college football playoff into that Final Four between Mac Jones and Kyle Trask. But if you really want to go by that most valuable player, don't you have to bring back in Trevor Lawrence? And you look at the fact that, okay, he missed 2 games. What did they do in one of those games? They lost. They lost one of those games. Now, doesn't that make him extremely valuable to his team in this season for an MVP award? Or is the Heisman a statistical thing when you can bring back in Kyle Trask and say, okay, look, he's, setting records at a place like Florida, which has had some pretty good quarterbacks in the past. He's throwing for over 3 touchdowns a game. This last game, people are criticizing him. He was over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
400 yards and 4 touchdowns, and the game was in hand the entire second half when you had some garbage touchdowns for that other team. So, you end up asking, what is the award? And frankly, it feels like it is a statistical award, which is hard to hand out this year in a year where the stats are so uneven.
Yeah, well,
no one's playing the same amount of games.
No, you're right. Listen, it's always been a statistical award, though. I mean, outside of a couple of few. If it wasn't a statistical award, defensive players would win it.
Yeah.
Receivers would win it.
Like like our Blitzy Player of the Year award.
Yeah.
We give that to defensive players sometimes.
Devontae Smith would probably win it.
Yeah.
Because statistically speaking, he's unbelievable. And he might be the best player in college football. It's not the best player in college football award.
Just like he won't be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
Absolutely.
Which is an interesting thing, too, in that, we're still putting Lawrence and Fields up there at 1 and 2. And meanwhile, it's Trask and Jones who are kind of battling out for that Heisman when you're thinking quarterback-wise.
Yeah, it's a quarterback award.
Yeah.
It's become a quarterback award, and that's fine.
Should they change the statute then? For a guy throwing the ball instead of one holding it?
They probably should. Now, listen, running backs certainly can. I mean, Derrick Henry just won it recently. I mean,
he did, yeah.
It's not impossible for running backs, but it's a quarterback and maybe a running back award if you're just putting up crazy numbers. But the way football's going, it's going to become more and more a quarterback award. So I think this is the problem. This is what I was trying to get to the other night when I'm talking about this, and this is what I don't really think people are grasping. This is an atypical year when it comes to the Heisman Trophy. we would already be awarding this. The votes would have already been cast. The votes would have already been in, even though the SEC championship game wouldn't even have been played. And so this is as unique as we've ever had it in college football, that the two front runners are also going to play for the SEC championship in the same game. And so because they're voting later, you can't sit here and tell me that he's like the context has been Trask has already won the award. Well, no, he hasn't. There's 2 more games to go. Like, you're not giving the award like years past in the first week of December. And that was really just my point. And I'm not sitting here telling you Mac Jones is going to win the award. But I do think human nature tells us if you are voting for that award on December 21st, which you even have later that to vote. But just say December 21st. And we know it's between those 2 guys, and many people believe it. You'll still get your Trevor Lawrences and Justin Fields and all that other stuff. But majority of votes are going to be cast for those 2 guys. Well, you're going to look and see who played better in that game head-to-head, and if there was a distinct difference. Now, I do believe that if there's not a distinct difference, Kyle Trask is in the lead right now. So Kyle Trask can lose the game in a close way, play well, and maybe Najee Harris goes off for 200 yards and beats the Gators. And Kyle Trask still, I would think, would earn it based on numbers and what he's done this year. But you can't tell me that it's already over. Like Mac Jones, what if Kyle Trask throws 3 picks in that game and Mac Jones throws 4 touchdowns in that game? Well, you can't sit here and tell me that Kyle Trask deserves the Heisman Trophy.
No, for sure. It's definitely not over. And I agree with Stuart, where it was definitely a stat-driven award. I feel like even like 5-6 years ago. Like, for instance, when Lamar Jackson won the Heisman Trophy, remember how good his team was? They were like 500 in their conference. So like
the year Tebow won, they lost 4 times that year.
Exactly. But now I think with the implementation of the college football playoff, like that tells us that these are the top 4 teams in the country. And the past couple of years, you've seen that teams that have made the playoff usually has the Heisman Trophy winner. Now, if Kyle Trask was to play in the SEC championship and get mollywopped by Alabama, which could very well happen, I think it begs the question, does he even deserve to get the Heisman Trophy? Like, if you're not going to play in the college football playoff with one of the top 4 teams, you're the top player in the country, but you can't even lead your team to a top 4 spot in the playoff?
What if they lose 56-35? Trask has 5 touchdowns, 400 yards passing. Which is a very real possibility, by the way.
And that's something.
Yeah.
But I'm saying...
Because that was his one loss this year against Texas A&M in a game where, the defense just got run over at will, and a running back fumbled away the game at the end and allowed Texas A&M to win it.
Listen, I get you, because I'm saying this is an individual award, but the team revolves around it. All I'm saying is, if Mac Jones goes in the SEC championship game in Atlanta, right? Is that Atlanta?
Yep.
Yeah. And they mollywop Kyle Trask. I'm saying they get beat big time. And all of a sudden, the Trask era,
Can we
where
stop
it's
putting
like,
that into the universe?
Why? Mollywop's awesome.
Mollywop's good.
No, not the word mollywopping, just the idea of Florida getting
sorry.
much.
Sorry. Let's just say Trask has a bad game. Yeah. And let's say the Florida Gators get embarrassed by the Alabama Crimson Tide, which could happen as well. I'm taking Kyle Trask off the board like that.
Absolutely,
Simple as that.
because if they get mollywopped, that means Trask didn't play that well. And here's the other thing. Listen, I want to go to can we before we go to break. I know it's going to be a little long. Let's go to the Dan Mullen soundbite after, because here's what the argument is. Another level of the argument is that it's against the all SEC teams. It's all SEC this year because of COVID, which, by the way, is cool that they did all conference games. You don't have Eastern Washington. You don't have Georgia Southern. You don't have any of those games. But listen to Dan Mullen as they win the SEC East, and this goes along with my Heisman thought too.
Winning the SEC East championship in this year, the hardest year in the history of this league. We're going to play 10 conference games, regular season conference games, to win our division is pretty special and shows a lot of what the team's at and what our coaches and the whole program's at.
I mean, come on. I get it. One thing that's driven me nuts since I've been down here is the SEC. Nobody in sports does this. Like, the SEC is the best conference, folks. It is. It has been. It's unbelievable. It's great. Great players, best coaches, everybody knows that. They've proven it. They've won a ton of national titles. But I just can't nobody sits there and roots for the Yankees in Boston when the Boston Red Sox get out. Around in the SEC, I just can't. I never can grasp it, and this is why I guess I'm from New England and not from down here, but I can't sit there and root for, like, Alabama to go win the national title after they beat me in the SEC championship game and wave the SEC flag. But so Mullen's waving the SEC flag. That's fine. It just means more. Well, here's the deal with the SEC. And it's not unlike the other conferences.
No, but it means nothing this year.
But it's not that it means nothing. You have average teams in the SEC, man. I just watched the defending national champions give up 45 points in the first half to Alabama. Mm-hmm. And you're telling me, well, it's the toughest it's ever been?
Yeah.
Vanderbilt wouldn't win 3 games in the MAC.
Yeah.
And it's the toughest it's ever been?
Yeah.
Don't just sit there. I understand you're not paying the guaranteed money games. I understand you're not playing the layup games this year. Well, those were added games anyway. Sure, you're playing an extra conference game or two. But Mullen went right to it, man.
No, I know.
It's like, this is the hardest year ever to win the SEC East. Bull bleep. It is not.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely. Listen, you're fooling yourself and you're fooling all of us as well because that's not true. I get it. Right now, Alabama, they're the talk of the town. They're 9-0. They're playing a great brand of football. I understand that. Florida got beat by Texas A&M. A&M's a great team as well. But besides that, Georgia's competitive. Missouri, maybe. But Kentucky, Tennessee, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Arkansas. And here's the thing that really grinds my gears, I guess we would say. When we talk SEC football, usually it's tough football. It's a tough brand of football. Great defense. Those teams that I just named, go ahead and give me a great defense because you can't do it. So in an offensive year with offensive-driven numbers, if you're Dan Mullen, don't sit here and tell me that you get an SEC bump because this is the hardest year of all time. No, man. Put that card back in the deck and see what the ACC is doing. The ACC might get 2 teams in the championship as well, counting Notre Dame, of course. But I'm just saying, take the whole prestige, take the whole all that stuff out of the SEC. Not this year.
Well, and same goes for the Heisman talk. You can't use that as an excuse. Just because you played all conference games. It's not the line. There's 4 good teams. And I'm not even going to debate how good Texas A&M and Georgia are.
Yeah.
But there's 4 good teams. Outside of that, they're all whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, they've proven that. Look at their records. Mm-hmm. They're just not that good. I mean, Alabama has trounced teams. Florida has essentially trounced everybody except for Texas A&M.
We'll find out when we get to the Outback Bowl just how good the lower teams are in our conference.
Yeah, I mean, and by the way, comparative to other conferences, they're still good.
Yeah.
But there's just not a lot of great teams in the SEC this year. I mean, it's just it falls on deaf ears for me.
Yeah.
To say that, rip, bam, we clinched the SEC East, the hardest year ever. The other thing too is Mullen wants to win a Heisman. First and goal from the 5, he's throwing it. He wants to win the Heisman. Yeah, they can't run it well, but they don't try to run it well either. You know what Alabama's doing on first and goal? They're giving it to Najee Harris, and he's scoring. Yeah. So the touchdown stuff, you got to watch. I can't wait to see what happens. And by the way, I'm fine with whoever wins it.
Yeah.
But stop, Gator fan, and telling me to stop the count.
Go and give me Wisconsin-Auburn for the Tax Slayer Bowl, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, Wisconsin's
mediocre.
Terrible, by the way.
Who are you telling? Hey, I think I'm going to defend it. I'm not going to defend it. Yeah, they're bad.
Jeez.
Graham Mertz, y'all sold at him quite yet? Crazy.
We'll be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is
You know, we're excited to get a win. We're excited to win the East. You know, obviously we're going to self-reflect and clean up the things that we messed up on. But at the same time, you got to celebrate your victories.
Colt.
That's Kyle Trask.
Oh, man, I thought it was Colt McCoy.
I am so good at this game.
Yeah. Brent, okay, I'm not going to get into it. Whatever. That was a good one. That was it was impressive. It's impressive.
You think the rules are slanted in my favor or something?
I do.
Because they are.
It's almost like you do this for a living.
Sound bites during the weekend shows.
Yeah, it's almost like you play these sound bites during a TV show or something like that.
That was Weber getting me back for telling on him about the tight end quarterback.
Oh, to Taysom Hill?
Taysom Hill.
Yeah, had to shut that down real quick. So did you win this week?
130 points or so this week. I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
Don't mind
well,
me.
you're doing fine in second place in the playoffs.
By the way, I'm about to win too.
I didn't want to play
but I'm going to
protest.
protest. I'm protesting the fantasy football league.
It's over, man. Sorry, you're in the consolation bracket.
I don't understand. In what world?
You're in the consolation bracket.
Listen, if they take, let's just say for a comparison here, they take in the AFC, right?
Sure.
Well, 7 teams this year, and in the NFC, they're taking 7 teams.
Correct.
But in this crafted fantasy football rigged league,
that's my doing. Thank you.
Okay.
Rigged. I wouldn't call it rigged now per se.
It's like them taking 8 teams in the AFC and 6 teams in the NFC.
What we've done is we've established a model for the future. The NBA has wanted to do this for a long time now.
Correct.
Get more teams from the West into the postseason and less of those also-rans in the East, i.e., your division.
All that's going to happen is the best teams will go to the final. You know, they'll go to the bracket. There's no East and West at the end of the day. It's if you're good, you're going to the championship bracket.
Win your crossover games against the other division, and this isn't much of a problem.
Yeah, if you draft Michael Thomas, you know, if you make some mistakes, if you take Lamar Jackson so high, even before Kyler Murray, that's Mitch Trubisky type GM management right there. That's what that is. You go to the consolation bracket.
We'll talk about this tomorrow, but how nervous are you that you can't win a championship in fantasy because of the way Kyler Murray's playing?
Hey, I'm sorry. Who's on the bench right now? Josh Allen? Not too worried about it.
We'll see.
He's playing the Jets coming up. Hey, either Kyler Murray or Josh Allen. Pick your poison. Have fun with Lamar Jackson.
So in our league, by the way, because here's what could happen, very well happen.
And poor Olivia could have had Josh Allen, but no.
I could. It's not dead set yet. Yeah. But I could finish tied for 4th, but I'm going to lose on points, which is typical. Like, points comes down to a tiebreaker.
Do you agree with that?
Oh, yeah.
Are you conceding to that?
But I'm losing that to the guy in the other division.
Sure.
That's why I'm protesting.
He has the better record.
No, he doesn't. We're tied. That's my point.
But he's going to have the better record because he has more points.
So you're going to allow 3 teams. And by the way, not only that, it's coups. Shouldn't we do something to eliminate coups from the playoffs anyway?
Hey, wait. Now, come with me here, Stuart, a little bit.
Is coups even involved anymore in our show?
I mean,
he's in the promo still.
Well, here's the thing, though. So Kuz is going to go to the championship. Like, it's going to be Stuart, Olivia, myself, and Kuz. I mean, 4 hard hitters of Action Sports Jets. Do you think that maybe Kuz should be sitting in Brent's spot? Maybe Brent should be pushing the buttons because Kuz had a pretty good year and Brent's taking Lamar Jackson like the 3rd round.
I think you should try that and see where it goes.
Oh!
I might want to move to Orlando, talk a little more hoops.
I'm going to Arizona. We're good.
So one other thing about this fantasy football deal. If 4 teams from your division were all better than anybody in the other, like even the division champ doesn't go to the postseason. So if Olivia is leading the other division,
it would be very hard for 4 from one side because you play like everyone in your own division twice.
Yeah.
So someone's going to feast on those minor, those lesser non-playoff teams in the other division.
That's what we're doing.
Like Brent.
That's what we're doing. Yeah.
I beat your ass.
That's going to be a button.
I did.
Right. Okay, yeah, you did.
Well, so stop sitting here telling me you feasted on my team. I beat you.
Time out real quick. So I can't stop. So do you think last year when Andy Reid and the Chiefs were holding the Lombardi Trophy sky high, do you think, oh, well, we got beat by the Broncos or the Raiders? No, man. Brent, listen, you beat me fair and square. Congratulations. But at the end of the day, one person's going to the championship rounds, and the other guy's going to the consolation bracket. Enough said. The consolation bracket.
It's not over yet. I still got a chance. Lamar Jackson. What's the most points a guy has ever made in fantasy football? individual?
Probably Kyler
like
Murray.
Tyreek Hill had 51 points last week.
Yeah, I mean, you talking about Lamar Jackson, so the quarterback numbers. I mean, Kyler
What was the
Murray's-
highest one he's done for you?
Kyler Murray? Oh,
No,
he's
Lamar
put up
Jackson.
37. Oh, last year you're talking about? Oh, last year.
Yeah.
See, I have to go back
I
to
need
last
that kind
year.
of game.
I have to go back to last year. My quarterback last year. I think he put up like 38.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, I need more than that.
I mean, you remember how passing yards work, right? You don't get 1 point per passing yard. You get
I know,
like
but
point.
Lamar Jackson doesn't know how to pass very well. I'm saying hoping he runs.
Well, is he going to run? I don't
Yes,
know.
I want him 4 touchdowns running.
Okay.
And 240 yards rushing.
Well, good luck with that, man.
By the way, what's the score in the Pittsburgh-Washington game? I'm not watching
it. Is scoreless.
Scoreless?
Watching back here.
Yeah, and I'll tell you
Probably
what,
not
man.
good for my Prize Picks entry.
Not good at all.
What is
Go
going
ahead.
on? By the way, what's going on with offense in the NFL?
Brandon, I told you it's like cold weather.
Getting cold.
Did I tell you the cold weather make a difference?
Looks cold in Pittsburgh.
Now, don't tell me that to Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns and Tennessee Titans, but usually when you get cold weather, it makes a difference.
No, seriously, what is going on? Like
I just told you,
it's
cold
not
weather.
No, it's not just cold weather.
Okay.
They played a game in L.A., and both quarterbacks didn't throw for like 100 yards.
You get some attrition, too, over the course of the season.
Yeah.
You know? These guys are bringing in new players left and right, and you're a little out of rhythm.
Okay, so look, 21-16.
Playing on a Monday at 5 o'clock or a Tuesday.
Crazy.
or-
Speaking of cold weather, by the way, Chicago, 34-30 was the score. So it's not cold weather, which is crazy that Chicago, with their defense, and the Lions, who couldn't score against Carolina, I think it was, they go score 34 points, and Stafford throws for 400. Browns-Titans, that was wild. But Dolphins-Bengals, 19-7. Vikings-Jags, 27-24. Raiders, 31-28. So I guess that's
Tua, though.
26-20 in the Texans game. Yeah, the Rams maybe 38-28. So maybe there was more scoring than I thought. I just think you have some miserable quarterback performances. Like the Seahawks scored 12 points against the Giants. And by the way, the Seahawks defense all of a sudden is now playing well.
I know.
Like, the Eagles
it's the
quarterback
Giants
situation's
offense.
terrible.
Yes.
Patriots and Chargers were awful quarterbacking. Broncos were awful quarterbacking. Heck, the Chiefs only put up 22.
Yeah.
Just seems odd. Like,
well, it should have been 29. You see that catch by Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
The greatest catch never to be a touchdown, man.
Well, it
That's
would have been
insane.
only 4 more points. Should have been 26.
Good call. Yeah,
Which,
good call,
by the
good
way, probably good news for fans of Washington and Pittsburgh who can't watch the game. You haven't missed any points.
That's true.
That's good.
And
By the way, we
speaking
had
of-
another email from an AOL account.
Oh, this is awesome. Here we go.
Seething.
What's with these
Seething
AOL
over you're not
people?
broadcasting the game.
Is that what you just got?
Seething
Well, I got
in the
this one.
title.
Check this one out, all right? Yeah, I haven't read this, so hopefully there's not a swear
Careful
word.
now.
Several local television directories indicated you would broadcast the early Monday Night Football game today. I can think of no in capital letters. Reason for you not doing so. You're not doing so. Today's game has a wide national interest and appeal to many nationwide. Your decision to not broadcast this game makes no sense and complete nonsense. So it makes no sense and it complete nonsense. When the NFL makes decisions to reschedule its weekly scheduled games, the local station should make every effort to broadcast those games for the benefit of the viewing audience. Please remember that amid this pandemic, many of us have few pleasures. Watching sports is one of the few we have.
Dang.
I cannot begin to describe how furious I am at your station for not broadcasting this game today, and I think there are 16 exclamation points.
It's a lot of
after
exclamation points. That's
that
the same email, by the way, that the subject line was seething.
Oh, is that what it was? Seething?
Seething.
We have why is the football game not on your channel? At least thanks is added to that one. Where is the Washington-Pittsburgh football game? I did not know the Washington's new nickname is Pittsburgh, but they are. It says where's Washington football.
Okay,
Yeah, I was just trying to be funny there.
No, I got
What happened to the football game tonight? How come you guys are not airing the Pittsburgh and Washington game right now?
People
This is
wanna
all
know,
since
Brent.
5 o'clock, by the way. Why isn't the game on? Why is Fox 30 not broadcasting the game now?
I can only imagine the phone lines down there.
I told them. I gave them a heads up. I wish we were down there going live. I wish they would just send them up to us.
I just want to talk to somebody and see what that rage is like.
Phone number's on the screen, by the way, if anyone wants to call in with some rage.
By the way, Weber hit it. You haven't missed a dang thing. It's 0-0.
0-0. Alex Smith's got a couple completions.
Weber
Big
didn't
Ben.
know. Weber. I said Weber hit it. Weber thought I meant hit a button.
How
I
does
didn't know I was supposed to
who's
hit.
this
I'm like, what sound am I
McFarland?
supposed to hit?
Anthony McFarland's got more rushing yards than Benny Snell. I don't like that.
Didn't predict that in Prize Picks.
No, I did not.
All right, give me one thing coming back from the weekend. I got something. You should too.
All right.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. not carrying this. 2 hours of Action News Jax? Really? We got more.
Poor John Bachman. People are expecting to see Ben Roethlisberger. Maybe some are expecting to see Alex Smith, but it's mostly Ben Roethlisberger. They turn on their TV, and there's like Mr. Stylish himself, John Bachman, who's like the nicest guy ever. And I'm sure he's getting so much hate right now because obviously people can't watch their Steelers.
I thought I had a text message from Ty. I was like, oh, he's going to complain about this again to me. Watch. Instead, it's, can you bring me a large shake and Kaylee a small one, please?
So, here's the thing.
By the way, if somebody could find me, this is what I want for Christmas.
Okay.
To get Ty.
I got you.
I'm
listening.
If somebody can find me a way to get like a big tub of the peppermint shake at Chick-fil-A, like the Christmas shake.
I've never had the Christmas shake.
Have you seen it?
No.
Yeah, so it's just on the holiday season.
Okay.
You know, some places have like eggnog shake and stuff. Well, Chick-fil-A.
Shamrock shake. Shout out to McDonald's.
Yeah. So Chick-fil-A does the peppermint
shake. Sounds good.
I think it's called like peppermint chip or something like that. Well,
Good
Ty loves it.
Have you had it?
And yeah, it is good, but I mean, it's got to have so much sugar in it that I try to stay away.
We can't have that.
But Ty, the quest to 100 pounds is rapidly increasing because of the Chick-fil-A shake.
Yeah.
And he loves it.
Yeah.
Like he would eat it every day. So if I seriously could get a tub of it, you know, because you can only get the large, it's just a large. I mean, large is, I need one for breakfast for him and for dinner and for a snack.
Listen, stop selling yourself short. You got a backyard fireplace. Just buy like a shake maker. You know, like those big metal things that circulate, or whatever.
Yeah.
Buy him a shake machine.
Well, then I need the secret recipe, though.
Google. You find that real quick.
I mean, because you know,
you
like,
want it? I can find it right now.
Have you tried to do that before where you go to, you
yeah,
love it? Like,
okay.
you know what I've done
I've
that
tried
before?
that with the Red Lobster cheesy biscuits.
I've done that with like pickles before. You ever go to a place and their pickles are unbelievable? And you're like, and so you ask the people, like, what do you do to them? Like, I put them in like vinegar or whatever else. I don't know, like soak them in.
It's a family recipe.
And so I'm like, I'm trying that.
Yeah.
It ain't even that close to any good.
There's some good pickles around
here. Not the
here.
sweet pickles, though.
Not the sweet pickles, but no, there's some good pickles around here. Like the local pickle scene, it's big.
You know who's got great pickles?
What do we got?
Ted Montana Steakhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable.
But those are like, they're like little cucumbers. They're not even like pickles. They're cucumbers. Yeah,
I think I've done this before.
I don't think you have.
But anyway, the shake from Chick-fil-A, I don't know if it can be duplicated. So I need a tub of it.
Yeah. I say just buy a machine.
Anybody got good connections at Chick-fil-A?
Hit them up, man. Hey, listen, there's friendly people there. They can help you out. They can point you in the right direction. They're really friendly.
I interrupted you.
Oh, no, I was going to say, so in the first quarter, 6 first down, 6 punts.
You ain't missing much, people.
Yeah.
Hey, I think, in fact,
still 0-0.
I think we're doing everybody a service. Not showing the game.
No, the Pittsburgh, they're getting in the red zone. The Steelers are, by the way. So, sorry to disappoint, but.
Okay, give me one thing from the weekend, man. Some good UFC or what?
Do you want to go? Oh, yeah, good call on the UFC.
You just showed me Pat McAfee in the wrestling world.
Yeah, you know, can I go with that instead? Or do you want to go UFC?
You can do whatever you want.
I know, man.
I'm just giving you ideas.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So let's go ahead and go with Pat McAfee, man. Listen, this guy's a jack of all trades, right? He's everywhere. He's on College Game Day. He's got his own Sirius XM show. Well, he's been doing this whole thing with WWE NXT, which is kind of like, it's kind of like AEW, right? Where they're in direct competition with each other. And obviously, I'm an AEW guy, but what Pat McAfee is doing right now, he's blowing the wrestling universe away. Because at first, obviously, people were, well, this guy's not a full-timer. He's not even an athlete. He's a punter. Yada, yada, yada. But it's cool watching him earn, wrestling fans' respect, if you will. And he did that last night at War Games.
All right, what do you got, Weber?
Got a couple local guys getting in on the MACtion, doing pretty well in the MAC football conference.
I like that MACtion.
We like
the MACtion.
Yeah.
Carter Bradley at Toledo, son of Gus.
Yeah, big one. Big day.
Big game, 3 touchdowns, ton of yards, led his team to a victory. And Tion Dollard out of Lake City, Columbia, had 180-something yards rushing and led the Akron Zips to their first MAC win of the year. So good on you to the local guys getting it done in the MAC.
What's a zip? Oh, go ahead.
I don't know what a zip is.
Okay.
I should know, too. I went to school like
Don't
an hour
they think a kangaroo as their logo thing? I'll look it up. You got it.
I think it might just be like a Z.
Okay.
I don't know.
Go, yeah.
But anyway, speaking of coaches' kids, I'll tell you what. Doug Marrone's kid can play.
Yeah.
I was at Bowls, I shot every snap of that game. 10-7 at overtime. every single one.
You trying to go to the Christmas party or what?
No, I didn't do it for that.
Okay.
Just one score. It was
Sounds
10-7.
like it.
I didn't have any highlights.
Sounds like it.
But, I mean, his kid, Mac Marrone's a good player. He's all over the place.
It's awesome.
All over the place. Plays linebacker.
By the way, don't ever question my mascot stuff
it is
again.
like a kangaroo.
Yeah.
How about that? I should have known that. Hey, here's my give me one thing real quick. It's Manny Diaz in Miami. I think quietly, we're not talking enough about it. I mean, obviously, he's got De'Ara King, and De'Ara King has played well for him, but Manny Diaz doing a heck of a job, man. He's not going to get in the ACC championship game because they lost to Clemson. And you know what? They got thumped by Clemson. But they have one loss. You know, and they're coming back off to that big break, and they take care of business. I'm impressed with the Miami team like that takes care of business. They've won some close games. They just trounced Duke. I'm impressed with Notre Dame. Brian Kelly's a guy that also didn't get enough love for the job he's done. They have taken care of business as well. We just took care of business. Show's over.
Touchdown Deontay Johnson.
Yep. Deontay Johnson. That's not Juju Smith-Schuster.
No, it's not. Sorry about that.
Jags Report Live coming up 7 o'clock on Fox 30. We'll do this again tomorrow on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Live, local, loud up next. Keep it locked to ESPN 690 since you can't watch the Steelers game.